He wants to feature that, and he'll see how they go throughout the game, what adjustments he needs to make.
These two teams are used to each other. Their fans are fervent. Mississippi State is here, as are the LSU Tiger fans. They're meeting for the 6th time this year, but for the most important time. In the winners brackets on this side, Gary Miller and Harold Reynolds with you, and here's the lineup that Mississippi State will throw out for Pat McMahon. Brian Weiss will lead off and play right field. He's followed by a senior-laden lineup. Rusty Toms, who's starting in left field. He's batting .312. Brad Freeman, a senior shortstop. And then Richard Lee, the cleanup hitter at first base, is batting a lofty .357. Brooks Bryan, one of the heroes in their opening game against Florida, is in center field. It's Travis Chapman, the sophomore third baseman out of Jacksonville. Then it's Barry Patton, the senior catcher. John Knott, another freshman, who'll be DHing. And Chris Latoros, the second baseman. Chris Lauderhouse, the second baseman, and Jeremy Jackson on the mound for them against LSU.
Well, they'll be facing Randy Kiesler from LSU, and he will feature a fastball, a spike curve. This is a curveball that's in between a fastball and a curveball and a slurve. A hard bite to it. But if he gets in trouble, you'll see an awful lot of fastballs. He will be coming after him, challenging him, and hopefully he'll be around the plate, Gary.
Well, Mississippi State, kind of a shock in here. Florida was the class of the SEC. LSU is the 2-time defending champions. Mississippi State, an 8th seed in this tournament. But they beat LSU in the SEC tournament, and they've beaten them 3 out of 5 meetings this year, and they played them at LSU. So Randy Kiesler is facing a Pat McMahon team that is not going to be intimidated by the fact that LSU is a 2-time NCAA champ. First pitch.
Mississippi State, a very aggressive offense. Weiss, not your normal leadoff hitter. You see the 14 home runs. He's not going to be your prototypical bunt and slap and take pitches. He's coming up hacking.
Kiesler missing the first 2 pitches, one wide, one low. The wind is blowing hard out to left, and that favors LSU in their thunderous lineup, but Mississippi State hit 4 home runs in their opener. That pitch gets to the outside corner, and it's 2-1 to Brian Weiss.
Well, Gary, you can see the flag is blowing out, and Weiss, is, like I said, is not a guy who likes to bunt. The third baseman playing all the way back to the infield, almost the outfield grass, as you see him over there.
Evens the count at 2-2.
2 ball clubs very familiar with each other, having played in the same conference.
You get a good look at Kiesler looking down the barrel of Brian Weiss. Goes off speed with the curveball. He hits it sky high. It's in between right and center, but Cedric Harris, who covers a lot of ground, will make the catch. Let's set the LSU defense for you to see what Mississippi State is attacking. That's Cedric Harris in center. Alongside him is Danny Higgins in left, and Wes Davis is in right. Third to first, it's Blair Barbier, Josh Dalton, Trey McClure, Eddie Furness, one of their top hitters. Brad Cresse's behind the plate catching Randy Kiesler. Here's the new number 2 hitter, Rusty Toms, and he takes a strike.
Tom's had a good night the other night when we got a chance to see him play. Chokes up on the bat. He's not afraid to go the other way, and he also had a home run and a base hit to right.
Again, Kiesler's going with the breaking pitch.
Getting ahead of the hitters. Notice him choking up on the bat. Not a whole lot of hitters do that nowadays.
Wasted away low, but he got it up in the 90s that time. It's 1-2.
It's a little waste pitch, showing him something outside. I'm sure they'll probably try to come back in with something off speed.
1-2 pitch gets the outside corner for a ball, third strike. And right now, Randy Kiesler's starting to find a groove.
Well, he's got a nice little rhythm right here. He just reaches back and throws a fastball. So if I'm looking off speed, I'm out. So maybe he was listening to me and took this pitch. Here's a fastball just down and away. 2 strikes. You want to expand your zone a little bit. That ball tailing down, but wasn't able to aggressively go after it.
2 quick outs. Starts him off with the breaking pitches the way his setup's been going for these first few batters. And he's getting ahead in the count now after falling behind on Brian Weiss. 0-1 pitch set up outside. He misses off the target. 1-1.
Well, Brad Freeman's been drafted twice, once out of high school and then last year as a junior. almost signed with the Cleveland Indians, decided to come back to school, one of the leaders on this team. It's been a good senior year for him.
Freeman a shortstop in the 3-hole, not something you see every day, and this time Kiesler lets him know he's there and backs him off with a 2-1 pitch.
Well, you like to have your best hitter in the 3-hole, but they got a bonus, and he's probably the best athlete for Pat's team there. And he's been just hits the ball, catching the ball. It's fun to watch. It's been a joy to watch him play.
2-1 pitch. Right down there for a 2-2 count. Those of you not familiar with college baseball may notice low strikes, a little wider strikes, and that's one of the advantages of the aluminum bat. You got to be up there hacking. Fights that one off and fouls it. It's 2-2.
Well, it's actually good for young hitters. You want to swing the bat. You don't want to go up there looking to take a pitch, and this makes you go up there and be an aggressive hitter. You don't always like it when you get 2 strikes, but it does make you an aggressive hitter.
2-2 pitch now from Kiesler. Mississippi State doesn't want to go 1-2-3 in their first chance at it, but they do, and he strikes out the last 2 batters he faces to make it a 1-2-3 inning for Randy Kiesler, who looked impressive. The third member of our broadcast team is Dave Ryan. He'll be roaming around throughout Rosenblatt Stadium and giving us a lot of background on Mississippi State and LSU. Dave?
Well, Gary, thanks a lot. You know, Mississippi State comes into this game with a lot of confidence. Saturday against Florida, the team got a huge monkey off its back by finally beating the Gators. They had lost to Florida 16 of the past 17 games heading in. Mississippi State head coach Pat McMahon told us before the game today that was really big for his team's mental state of mind. A huge game for them, helped them get over the hump, because sometimes in college baseball, some clubs have certain control over others and not much can be done about it. But Gary and Harold, one thing he didn't tell his team today, that little 9-game College World Series win streak for LSU, kind of a domination as they swept back-to-back national titles. He overlooked that. Didn't want to overwhelm his team too much.
Thanks, Dave. You know, you mentioned them getting the monkey off their back against the Florida team that had absolutely dominated them and beaten them 8 in a row. Well, Coach Skip Bertman likes to call what his team plays gorilla ball. Danny Higgins gets things started with a .310 average. Then it's a more traditional type leadoff hitter, Josh Dalton, the speed of this lineup. And then he goes with Trey McClure, a middle infielder who can hit for power. And then it's what Harold talked about in the pregame. Eddie Furness, Brad Cresse at catcher will hit 5th. Then it's Clint Earnhardt, the DH, who can also catch. Wes Davis in right field. Blair Barbier at 3rd base. And Cedric Harris, who's got some speed as well, is the center field. And they call it gorilla ball. But Harold, it's a 3-4-5 for this lineup. McClure, Furness, Cresse, so far 4 homers and 8 RBIs. And the reason they call it gorilla ball is this team's got a lot of muscles in their bats.
Well, they got a lot of muscle, but Gary, what makes them effective is they are very patient. They get a pitch that they can hit. Their philosophy is go up there, get a pitch, and drive, whether it's your first at bat or your 4th at bat. They're all very good hitters, particularly Furness. You saw the .414 average. He can go in and out all over the place.
There's Jeremy Jackson, who's pitched against him a couple of times. He set a career best 2 years ago with 15 strikeouts. What about today?
Well, Jeremy Jackson is going to feature a fastball in the 88-90 range, but his main pitch is the changeup. He will throw it to the left-hander and to the right-handers to keep him off balance.
Here's the first pitch to Danny Higgins. He's aggressive, hits it hard to first base. An easy play unassisted for Richard Lee.
Well, no surprise that Higgins is up there swinging. That is the philosophy for this LSU team. Pick out a pitch to hit, whether it's your first pitch or whether it's the 5th pitch of the at-bat, and go ahead and let it go.
Well, here comes Josh Dalton. Coach Skip Bertman said he's got the green light. They don't like to run a lot. They don't need to. They go out of the yard constantly, but this is the situational player he's got, and Dalton's going to look at a pitch. Whether he likes it or not, he wants to see some of what Jeremy Jackson's going to feature.
Well, Dalton's the one guy that, like you alluded to earlier, the prototypical type of leadoff type of guy. He's hitting in a 2 spot. Swings at a little cut fastball right there. But he is the one guy that will bunt, will take pitches, get the man over. The shortstop, his job is to catch the ball and play defense, even though he's hitting .300.
There's Skip Bertman.
Plays a different type of role for this ball club.
So Josh Dalton with an 0-2 pitch from Jeremy Jackson. He goes high and away. 1-2. Jeremy Jackson beat LSU pitched into the 6th inning in his only performance against them. That ball's hit hard the other way, but it's going to go foul and bounce against the bullpen. Josh Dalton grew up in this area. This has always been his dream to come back here, and I guess he picked the right team to play for a team that's got the best chance of coming to play in your own backyard. It's LSU. That one just misses off the outside, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, he's had quite an adventure. Went to Nebraska first, transferred, went to LSU, and came in and got a chance to play this year in hopes of coming back to Omaha to play in the College World Series, and here he is.
2-2 pitch. Fastball right by him. He swings through it, and so far, we're only 5 batters into the game, but we've seen outstanding pitching, which has not been the story overall in this tournament.
Well, Jeremy Jackson said, I'm going to have to mix it up. They do a great job of making adjustments. I'll use my fastball in backwards counts. Now, here's a backwards count. It's a 1-2 fastball. He just throws it by him. That would be the primary time that he would throw his changeup, but instead elected to go with the fastball and striking Dalton out.
Now I'll face Trey McClure. This is where things get pretty interesting in this lineup. The 3-4-5 hitters for LSU gets the outside corner and starts him off 0-1. He's getting ahead.
Well, he's staying with his game plan, too. There's a 0-0 changeup. We saw Higgins swing at the fastball first pitch. Right there, he's changing things up already, going with the change. First pitch to McClure.
This one misses outside. How many second basemen do you see with 27 home runs and RBIs in the 80s? But he actually was at third, and they switched. McClure and Barbier just to try and shake things up, and they like their new positions. That ball's hit sky high in the infield, a very high sun. Shading it is Brad Freeman, who has to go back, falls down, but makes the flop catch. And we've gone 1-2-3 on both sides. We'll go to the second scoreless between Mississippi State and LSU and get an idea of the conditions here. It's bright and sunny, and that can play a part as well. We'll be back after this. We're looking for offense. It's Mississippi State and LSU scoreless through the first inning, both 1-2-3 innings, and here's the last out at the bottom of the first, Harold.
Well, the one thing that amazes me in college baseball, here in the World Series anyway, they do not use the glasses. Right there, he's blocking the sun. You can see the shadow. Now, he's got the little webbed glove, so you're able to look through it, but he doesn't have glasses on, so you can't open the glove up to look through the peephole.
Here's Richard Lee, the first baseman, and Kiesler starts him out with a strike.
Absolutely amazing, Gary. The first baseman, Furness, is wearing glasses. Probably the only guy in the infield, and he's not even in the sun part.
Lee takes the ball outside. Lee made an unassisted put out on Danny Higgins at first base. This is his first chance to face Kiesler here in the top of the second inning. Hard strike in the outside corner, and it's 1-2.
Well, Kiesler said that there will be no secrets. I am reaching back, coming after him. If I get in trouble, I'm going to throw another fastball. That's just the way I pitch.
1-2 pitch goes down to the zone. Kiesler fields his position and makes it an easy out. 4 up, 4 down for the Bulldogs.
Well, I like his approach, Gary. He's not going to change because he's all of a sudden in the College World Series. You go with what got you here, and that's what's successful. And that's how you get better. You work on your strengths and not necessarily your weaknesses when time comes to go ahead and do it. And that's what he's doing.
Remember also that it took LSU a while to get started against the Trojans on Saturday. They had to come from behind in that game, and watch for them the second and third times around the order. Here's Mississippi State's number 5 hitter, Brooks Bryant. He homered in the first game of the World Series. A shocker when they beat Florida. Team that was the top seed. It was a 1-versus-8, but we've had a lot of lower seeds for the most part are winning these games. Backs him off the plate with high, tight cheese.
Well, he hit a home run off the left-hander to left field facing Wilkerson the other day against Florida. Took him to left field, and then he had a base hit to left center. So obviously Kiesler's watching this too. Knocking him down with a fastball, keep him off the plate.
See where he goes in the 2-0 pitch now. Nice pitch on the inside corner.
Now, we've seen quite a few hit batsmen knock down pitches like that. I don't know if they're necessarily intentional. They're still learning how to throw over that strike zone.
Brooks Bryant has an 8-game hit streak, lays off that one, and he's now going to get his pitch at 3-1.
Kiesler's bringing it back, letting it go.
You see the well-worn hat of Randy Kiesler. 3-1 pitch. Fights it off foul, 3-2.
And right there at 3-1, you're probably thinking Brooks Bryant's looking for something inside, but he got a pitch outside, and that seems to be his strength from watching him play a couple games here. He's been able to go inside out of a lot of balls, and obviously has the power to go out of the ballpark to left field like he did the other day.
Full count pitch. That one smashed into the crowd as well.
Another swing that was taking it to left field, so it's no surprise that he's going to hit that pitch away. Kiesler, very familiar with facing Brooks Bryant before in league play, so that's why you saw the knockdown pitch on the 1-0. And right now he's just trying to throw a strike, so he's going to put the ball over the plate.
Just to establish whose plate it is. So far, good control, good location from Kiesler. Here's the full count pitch. Right over the heart of the plate, and it's smashed to center for the first hit of the ball game. Brooks Bryant with a solid single to center field. That's
just a great at-bat right there. He got a pitch that he wanted to hit. He went up there with an idea of what he wanted to do. So important for hitters to know what your strength is. The 3-1 pitch, he went up there and swung it outside, and right there he gets a fastball down the middle, actually a little bit outside, and pulls it right up the center field. Beautiful swing. But his whole approach, he looked for a 3-1 pitch away that he could handle. 3-2, he fouled a couple off and got a pitch to hit.
So their first base runner, Travis Chapman, will come up with a 1-on, 1-out second inning of a scoreless game between LSU and Mississippi State in the winner's bracket of this side of the College World Series. Good close look at Kiesler there. He is bringing some heat.
Well, he's bringing it, and he's challenging hitters. And you like to see that. No intimidation at all.
Travis Chapman with that upright stance. Pretty decent lead, and they throw back to the bag to keep Brooks Bryant honest.
When you have an upright stance like Travis Chapman, holding his hands in a position there, you're going to see a guy who swings a lot with his hands, because he's holding it there in that position. Now he's going to bring him back and just drop him down. He's going to have a lot of hand action in his swing.
He doesn't wiggle the bat, but the way he holds it is similar to Sheffield. Holds it a little more central, but it's right straight up. But very kind. There's somebody he reminds me of, and it's hard for me to pick it up. But he looks just like one of the big leaguers. Very calmly in the box, though, and he wasn't ready for that curveball.
Well, if you watch his hands, Gary, when he's swinging, he starts them in the middle of his body. Now, when you start there, you always have to have some sort of a trigger, whether it's with your hands or with your body or something. Right there, he starts them in the middle of his body, takes them back to swing. That's his timing mechanism. Doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish. Some hitters have to get started. Gary Sheffield gets started by wiggling the bat over his head. I don't know how he's able to get it back to the hit zone, but that's Gary Sheffield. This young man will start there, and he'll bring it all the way back to the back shoulder and let it go.
He's back to the bag again is Brooks Bryant.
Brooks Bryant will run a little bit. He'll put some pressure on you. Kiesler not known for having a real great move.
Time he comes home, that one's high and away, and Chapman fouls it back.
What I've been able to pick up off of Kiesler with his move is he's the guy, a type of left-hander that will look at you. He's going home. He looks at home. He's coming over to first. Very typical of a young left-handed pitcher.
This time he just motions him back.
Step off, quick step.
Obviously, Kiesler.
Bryant's got a good lead. And watch his head. See?
That one's right down there. Chapman takes it looking. 3 strikeouts now out of the first 5 outs for Randy Kiesler.
Well, you might wonder why Chapman doesn't swing at this pitch. When the pitcher throws over 3-4 times, you kind of get locked. This ball's a good pitch to hit, but he's thrown over to first base so many times, your concentration just kind of leaves you. You need to step out of the box, regroup, and get your thought plan back together. And I think he just kind of got caught with the pitcher thrown over the first so many times.
Barry Patton takes the breaking ball low. 1-0.
Another advantage for the pitcher to throw over. You will distract the hitter's concentration a little bit too.
Get some fishing for the same pitch. It's 1-1. Brooks Bryant doesn't run a lot, but he's pretty successful when he does. He's 8 of 9 on steal attempts. Of course, Brad Cresse's father is a bullpen coach for the Dodgers, so he's a pretty good defensive catcher. Tried to frame that pitch, but he wouldn't get it. 2-1.
Well, I think the one thing that separates this game from all the other games that have been played so far is the familiarity between the two teams. They play each other quite a bit. You understand their tendencies, and you have a good feeling.
Rears back. You could hear him grunt on that one, and he gasped Patton with some cheese to even the count at 2-2. So it's all deuces. Too bad Long Beach State isn't here, or we'd see them all with their 2-2 sign. But this is an opportunity, our first real offensive situation. Brooks Bryan with a short lead at first. 2-2 pitch. Gets him golfing. They're going to have to throw him on at first, but Cresse comes out, makes the easy throw, and 4 strikeouts now for Randy Kiesler. He does give up the first hit of the game. It is still scoreless, though, and the middle of the LSU order is due when we come back. Starts him low and away. What in the world is crawfish etouffee? I think those people know what it is. They're the ones from Baton Rouge.
I sure don't know what it is. You want to know what it is, Gary? It's anything smothered. It's smothered food. Smothered chicken, smothered pork chops.
Eddie Furness has been smothering enemy hitters. Those numbers are almost illegal. He's batting over 400 with a slugging percentage in the 9s. Very dangerous hitter, as he proved against the Trojans on Saturday. 3-0 pitch, doesn't get green lighted, takes it inside. 3-1.
Well, Eddie Furness, one of the things that makes him such a great hitter is he's so balanced. If you look at his stance from the side, he's got such great balance. He spreads out. Now, he doesn't have much foot. His feet will stay planted in this area right there. It's a little lift.
It's that one.
Drive.
Boys, he got a quick bat.
Got a quick bat, but he's got that lift and step. He doesn't take a long stride. What happens when you have a long stride is your head moves. He keeps his head still. He's able to lift his foot and come back down with it. And that's what allows him to see the ball so well. Doesn't strike out much, makes good contact, and he hits for a high average for that simple reason.
Full count pitch, misses off the plate, and he puts him on. It's the first base runner of the day for LSU. And that'll bring up Brad Cresse, and we'll go down to Dave Ryan because it's a special day in the Cresse family.
Well, guys, it sure is. This is Mark Cresse, LA Dodgers bullpen coach, who has not seen Brad play a whole lot. In fact, this is the first ever collegiate game, official game, you've seen him in action. You've been so busy with the LA Dodgers, but they gave you a day off.
Well, we had an off day, luckily, on the schedule, and I'm just pumped because I think he's going to hit this one into the night, and, I'm very excited about being here.
Now, Mark, we understand he has Mike Piazza's glove, batting gloves from Raul Mondesi, shoes from some of the other LA Dodgers. As we see that swing there, not just the glove, you're hoping maybe the home run swing too, huh?
Well, that's what he had the other day, so I'm just hoping he can repeat it with me here. I saw it on television. All the teammates on the Dodgers are pulling for him, and I just hope he has a good day today.
What kind of advantage did it give for Brad to be able to grow up with all those Dodgers around him and great players and guys like yourself at a major league level?
That's a huge advantage. You can tell with the Ken Griffey Juniors. And
there goes one. See you later, baby. I love it. I love it. Woo-hoo! Yeah! Yeah! That's what I came here for.
You thought it might happen.
God, that's too good to be true. Thank you. Congratulations. I can't talk.
Incredible moment. I'm going to ask you how it feels, but I think we just saw how it felt, huh?
I never really was a guy to hold my emotions in, but you picked a tough time to interview me, but that's what I came here for. I can't believe it.
Gary Harold, he promised me he was going to go crazy during the interview if Brad might homer, and sure enough, you saw it. That's what college baseball is all about, guys.
Thank you.
Every once in a while we kept, bam.
Oh, my, you couldn't have written a better script. That was just, that's incredible. Spoke for itself.
You could see some tears welling up in his eyes.
Oh, man. They're going crazy in the Dodger clubhouse, too, man. They're loving that.
Here's Clint Earnhardt. Clint Earnhardt's a guy that hits very well, but because they already had Brad Cresse on this team, he is a catcher himself. Could catch for any major program, but he DHs because they got a pretty outstanding guy who we just saw hit his 29th home run of the year and quickly make it 2-0 LSU. That's gorilla ball.
Well, they used the big guys, and what set it up is Jackson did not want to allow anybody on base if he were to give up a home run. He walked Eddie Furnace, and then Cresse jumped on that fastball away.
We got a little timeout here as something has come onto the field on the warning track in center. A sign is blown over. It is pretty windy out here today. It's over 20 miles an hour, but that had nothing to do with that. That was a bomb.
He crushed that ball. Caught a fastball outside and stayed with it. Very nice swing. I had not seen him go deep to right field. I saw him pull a ball and saw him hit one to center, and I wasn't sure if he's going to be able to reach that outside pitch. He did, and he showed everybody what he can do.
Clint Earnhardt now working on a 2-2 2-out pitch. He fouls that one straight back to the screen. He stays alive.
Well, Jackson's got to get back to that changeup. The pitch before Cresse hit the home run, he threw him a changeup and got him waving at it. It's his most effective pitch. He can't try to get into trying to challenge these hitters like USC did the other day.
2-2 pitch. Low away, he goes with it. He's trying to get it up in that air to the wall and gone. Back-to-back home runs. Gorilla ball is flexing its muscles as Clint Earnhardt goes deep to make it 3-0.
Well, Gary, right when I was saying he needed to go back to that changeup, he threw one, and Earnhardt reached out and tattooed it in the right field seats. They have got some power in this lineup.
That's 3-0. Here's the 2-2 pitch.
Well, watch this pitch now. You see the catcher moving out. It's a changeup that stays actually out over the, it's not even over the plate. This is a ball. This ball's in the other batter's box. He reached out looking for that 2-2 change and drove it out of the ballpark.
People often wonder, here comes the first pitch. He goes back to his fastball, and Wes Davis fouls that back. You know, there's been an awful lot of talk this week, Carol, about the aluminum bat, but I think that, and then there's been an awful lot of talk, too, about how players love to bleach blonde their hair in college baseball.
I saw Chuck Finley with the Angels wearing that bleached hair, and I went, oh, my gosh, he's going to start a trend. And sure enough,
it's beyond a trend now. That ball is hammered hard. Into the gap in left center. The outfielders look up and watch it go into the neighborhood. Back-to-back-to-back jack. Wes Davis with a screaming line drive home run in left center field. Wow.
well, I was just thinking Jackson said he needed to start pitching backwards. And if you're going to pitch backwards, he's throwing fastballs and breaking ball counts. And right there, he had an 0-1. It was the perfect time for him to throw the changeup or stick to his game plan like he was going to do and throw that fastball, which would be the backwards pitch. And Davis just quick hands jumped on this pitch. We see the wind, but Gary, they've hit some bombs.
That's home run number 10. Yeah, there's a chance as Pat McMahon comes out to talk to his pitcher, and here's how he did it.
Well, look at that bounce. You can see right there, he stayed behind this ball. It was a line drive all the way. You can tell by the way he jumped out of the box and started sprinting. He's thinking gapper. This ball's hit on the line. There's no loop or long loft to this one. It was just a lined bullet that went out of the ballpark.
Well, with the 8 home runs that they hit against Southern Cal, that was an all-time record for one team. That game with USC set a record with 10 home runs in a game. This is now 11 home runs, and we're not through the second inning of their second game. That's tied for the second most in a World Series. Cal State Fullerton needed 4 games in 1995 to hit 11. The record is held by USC in that same World Series. They hit 14 in 6 games. So if they can hit 3 more in this game, which wouldn't be out of the question, they'll have equaled the all-time World Series record for long balls. There's Blair Barbier. Little conference on the mound. We were watching that home run replay. Pat McMahon wants him to just get out of it, settle down. You got to expect this kind of thing. That's not the kind of success, though, that Jeremy had against LSU in his career. He's pitched pretty well against him. bounces this one in. Evens the count. Makes it 2-1 now.
Well, he was saying to me that a couple outings before his last 2 times he's had success is that if he didn't throw the way he felt like he needed to do, pitch backwards, throw off speed when you needed to, and locate, he would get hammered. He said they creamed it before, they would do it.
That ball's hit hard, but right to the shortstop. A nice pickup by Barrett Freeman, and they get the second out of the inning. That's 1 away, actually. That's how long this inning has gone on. You know, Harold, we didn't talk about it much because the long balls have really taken away a lot of the attention. But the at-bat to Furness gives you an extra run. Pitched around him. Obviously, Furness could have taken him deep as well, but the walks can really affect you and make it a bigger inning than it needed to be.
Well, you're absolutely right, Gary. That's the one thing he wanted to avoid. If you're going to give up a home run, give up a solo. The other thing that happens with giving up a 2-run homer as opposed to a solo shot is momentum. And LSU plays on emotion, and they play on momentum.
And they are now starting to really swing that bat. They're swinging very aggressively and almost at anything. Cedric Harris at the plate now after Blair Barbier grounded out to shortstop. And there's only 1 away as Mississippi State tries to survive this second inning. Again swinging aggressively.
Well, what happens when your whole team starts swinging the bats the way LSU has? And obviously they haven't swung the bat like this all year. They're getting hot at the right time. Everybody takes their game to another level. You're confident, you're aggressive. If he can hit him, I know I can. That's the type of feeling you get in the dugout.
Cedric Harris, a redshirt freshman, outstanding defensive player who was only starting to develop. Not too many teams in the country would have this guy hit 9. He's a guy that Skip Bertman really feels has a future with this club. Strikes out swinging. It's been quite a thunderous inning. We were visiting Dave Ryan on a precipitous moment earlier. Let's try it again.
Well, that's for sure. Maybe we'll have another LSU home run, Gary. You never know. Before the season started, believe it or not, Skip Bertman told his team he wanted to play small ball this year. You know, he set an NCAA college baseball record with 188 taters a year ago. They're now up to 151. Before their game with USC 2 days ago, for the first time all year, in fact, for the first time the players at LSU can remember, Skip Bertman told his team, guys, we need at least 4 home runs to win. We'll make it 11 in 2 games and counting. How about that?
11 home runs, and they have 17 hits. It's pretty much all or nothing at all. They call it gorilla ball. Skip couldn't quite determine when that started. It works! Made the sign to get on ESPN. 2-0 and a fastball strike right through there on Danny Higgins.
Well, you see the aggressive swing by Higgins right there. Now, Gary, when have you ever heard of a manager or a coach saying, guys, we need 4 home runs if we want to win?
In college baseball. That one misses high, 2-2.
I really enjoyed our visit today with Coach Bergman. He's a character. He's talking about, now this is not normal. This is not normal baseball.
This is not real baseball. This is kids ball. But it is exciting. Attendance is up every year. That ball is up in the air, but it looks like the park will contain it. They're in right center.
Brooks Bryant loses it in the sun. It bounces off the wall behind him. Rounding second and heading for third, Danny Higgins gets a stand-up triple. And again, the conditions play a factor.
Well, I'm about ready to call timeout and run my sunglasses out there. I don't understand this part of the game in college baseball where they are not wearing the sunglasses. Obviously, he has them on. And I just thought he didn't have them on. That's my fault for getting on them, but he just flat lost this ball. Now, this wind, the ball gets up in the wind, and he's got no chance. He's just protecting, looking for a little protection. We talked about LSU raining balls down. Well, that's going to rain down on you.
Hail warning. This is not a team you want to give an extra out to, though. Josh Dalton, who struck out the first time he faced Jeremy Jackson, gets the outside corner on him.
Now, Gary, the one thing that happened is he picked the ball up, picked the sun up late. When you're playing in a sun field, you got to pick up that sun first thing. Throw the glove up in it, and then start running with the glove in the sun. That's what keeps it out. You can't run for the ball and then all of a sudden look up and try to block the sun and catch the ball. It just doesn't happen. You're trying to look at 2 objects at once. So the way to eliminate that, pick up the sun first. You know where it's at. Block it off, and then find the ball. And that's what he didn't do. That's why he got in trouble.
It's a 1-1 pitch, and he's up ahead of him, 1-2.
But all those things come with practice. You know, we got to continue to remember these guys are young men. They're 18, 19, 20 years old. They're still learning the game. And those are little simple things that you continue to learn the more you play.
Struck him out. So he strikes out Josh Dalton for the second time. Leaves the runner stranded at third, but a huge inning for LSU. Gorilla ball at his finest for the Cresse family, Brad and Mark. It was a magic moment. Conclusion in the bottom of the second has given Randy Kiesler a nice pad to work with. So far, he's only given up 1 hit. But there you see the flags are pinned.
Well, Gary, what you have to do every inning, particularly here in Omaha, as we've seen the wind up here on top of the hill, you have to, as a defender, check that wind, see where it's blowing almost every pitch.
John Knott, the DH, who hits for power himself, not for a very high average.
Now you look at the wind blowing right there. Once it gets above the stadium, you see those fans up at the top of the stadium, it's blowing harder than it is actually on their clothing. Just a little bit of distance between them and the flag. And you imagine when the ball gets all the way up to where the flagpoles are right now, how much the wind will change a little baseball if they're floating around.
John Knott with a 2-1 count, and the Bulldogs are going to try to answer a little bit of that thunder from LSU. 2-2 count now. Gives him the hook, smashes it through, and they got a base run. Solid single for John Knott through the left side of the infield.
Well, that's the first time Kiesler has not tried to blow a guy away with the fastball. For some reason, he went ahead and went with the hook. You can see he's a little disgusted with his pitch choices that he made right there. And here comes a curveball right into the loop zone of Knott, and he just drills it right into left field. Mississippi State's they're not gonna give in. They're not gonna cave in.
Oh, there you see. They don't look discouraged. John Knott has a good look on his face. Chris Lauderhouse, the 9-hitter, the second baseman's going to come up and bunt, but he pops it up in the air. An easy play for Barbier. And that is not exactly what Pat McMahon had in mind.
Well, not a bad idea. If he puts the ball down, the worst thing that can happen if he gets it down is you end up with a runner at second in scoring position. Now, Mississippi State's philosophy is let's add on, let's try to get there, condense the lead in this case, get a runner in scoring position. That's what they were trying to do, and you head back to the top of the order. Didn't get it down, so you're stuck with the runner at first and 1 out now, but not a bad idea.
Pat McMahon admits he likes to play small ball. He's going up against gorilla ball. Now, they hit 4 home runs against Florida, so Mississippi State does have power of its own, but nobody hits home runs like LSU. Brian Weiss, 400 hitter, gets things started for this team. They'd love to get a couple of base runners and bring the tying run on deck. That ball is hammered into the gap and left. It's going to be cut off, and they'll keep it to a 1-base single for Brian Weiss.
Well, as we've witnessed since we've been here this little short time this week, ball games are never over. No matter, and the emotions go from high to low in a matter of a pitch. Right here, Weiss, this is a beautiful swing. He gets a fastball and just jumps on it and drives it into left center field. Cut off very nicely by the left fielder, but another base hit to keep this rally going. Just continue to get a hit, get a runner, and pretty soon you might get a bop. Now you see Pat McMahon having a little conversation with Lauderhouse there, having a little coaching conversation. If you get the ball down, that's all we want. Not a bad idea is probably what he's telling us. At least I would be.
It brings up Rusty Toms, the senior co-captain, and Kiesler backs him off the plate inside. 1-0. 2 aboard with 1 out here in the third. LSU hit 3 home runs in their half of the second. Rusty Toms struck out the first time that he faced Randy Kiesler. Now he's got a chance with some runners aboard to get a rally going. That one misses low. Nice block by Cresse.
Well, Rusty Toms has got a real short stroke, and if someone's going to have success against a hard-throwing Cresse, it would be Rusty Toms. He's able to take that ball to bat just a short distance to make contact. You have a long swing, you have a tougher time catching up to somebody who's throwing hard.
That one misses low, so he works him ahead in the count 3-0 now. Tom's had just 2 home runs. It was not a threat to get him right back in this ball game with a long ball, but he's got some guys behind him that certainly can do that in Richard Lee and Brooks Bryant. And he walks him on 4 pitches. So right away, the tying run is going to come to the plate. And the grand slam has been a fairly common occurrence in this series as well.
Well, the one thing that Kiesler has done is get away from what he was doing the first couple innings. He was so effective with just throwing fastballs right there, going after the guys, making them swing.
Harold, you see Brad Cresse coming out there, takes the mask off, sets the infield. And now Skip Bertman giving some signs. What do you think LSU does in this position? They're all talking to each other in the infield.
Well, they're just making sure you get 1 before you try to get 2. Don't get in a hurry. Don't panic. You got a 4-run lead.
Goes to the gas and puts it right past Brad Freeman to start him out 0-1. Freeman with 11 home runs and 52 RBIs.
Now, as you look at the infielders, Gary, they're actually playing back. They're not really playing double play depth. They're playing for 1 out. If you get 2, great.
Gassed him on the outside corner. He did strike out Freeman the first time he faced him, and now he jumps ahead of him 0-2.
Now, you might wonder why they're playing that philosophy. Well, you're trying to avoid the big inning. You don't want to try to allow them to. You got 4 runs to work with, so you play back a little bit. And this is the difference between college ball and what you're going to see at the big league level.
Tries to get him to reach for that one. He won't. It's 1-2.
At the big league level, you might try and see the infield try to play in double play depth. College, you want to cut it off. You want to stay away from the big inning, not necessarily worrying about getting a double play.
Just misses. It's 2-2. No, it's interesting when we had our meetings, Harold, with Skip Bertman and Pat McMahon, they talked about 4+ ball. And, it's when you got a batter with a chance to tie it up with 1 swing. That's the win. So now they're in that situation. You want to stay out of a situation where a guy can get you 4 runs in an inning. That one just misses as well. It's a good thing for Brad Freeman because I didn't think he had a chance on that pitch.
Well, that was a very nice pitch. Sneaky fastball right there. But Gary, I've learned more terminology this week. I feel like I'm sitting here in the LSU football meeting. You're going to go down to the flat, go up, we're going to hit you with the bomb, than necessarily simple 1, 2 out, 3 in baseball.
3-2 pitch. Biggest moment so far for the Bulldogs, and they'll walk in a run. So Randy Kiesler, who was in total control of this game, came out to the mound with that 4+ lead that managers like to get. And suddenly it's down to 4-1. He's only got 1 out, and the bases are still loaded.
Well, let's look at what Kiesler did. Right here, Freeman with the hard swing, comes back. He's got him 0-2. Now he tries to go away again. And right here, this is a big pitch for him. He missed on the 2-2 and the 3-2 down in the dirt. So Skip's going to come out and say, man, you had him 0-2. You went after him. What's going on?
Skip Bertman calls all the pitches for his team. He's had a lot of experience. He's had Ben McDonald on his staff. He's had Mark Guthrie. He's got a lot of guys who've gone on to pitch in the major leagues. And Skip was telling us how he tries to make a pitcher adjust by where he calls for the pitch.
Yeah, it was interesting that he said if he's missing a certain place, I'm not afraid to call pitch right down the middle and make him have to throw that. I also found it really interesting that he was saying, I know things that this catcher and the pitcher don't know. I've been playing against this particular coach or that coach for 6, 10, 12 years. I got an idea what he's trying to do. So it was real interesting.
Let's see what the little conference on the mound does on his first pitch. Gets a fastball strike on Richard Lee, the cleanup hitter with a lot to clean up. The bases are loaded.
Well, it's no secret what Kiesler was going to do. He said, if I get in trouble, I'm going with the fastball. You look at the multiple signs here.
0-1 pitch to Richard Lee. Misses low with a breaking pitch. Another great block by Cresse.
Cresse, his offense really causes people to overlook his defense. Very good defensive catcher. Really, he's known as blocking the ball. Look at that great positioning. Now, that doesn't hurt to have your dad be the bullpen coach for a big league team.
1-1 pitch. Sets up inside. That's hammered foul.
But
blocking 1-2.
Blocking balls comes with work. You know, you'll see guys out there throwing balls because once a ball hits, you got to learn to read the hops, just like an infielder reads the hops. A catcher has to read which way it's going to bounce on a breaking ball, fastball, changeup, because they all bounce different ways when they hit the dirt.
Big moment in the game. Bases loaded, 1-2 pitch. He misses low, and it's going to be 2-2 to Richard Lee, who likes to hit against LSU. He's batting over 400. 444. He's 8 for 18, and that's this season against the Tigers. Senior, and like most of the players in the Bulldogs, a native of Mississippi, and most of the guys in LSU are natives of Louisiana. Right through there, and he got away with one there. Got the heart of the plate.
Sure did, and reaching back, going right after him. Missed a pitch. Now, you're going to get a pitch every at-bat to hit. Sometimes in college ball, you're going to get a few more because the pitcher's going to be around the plate, but boy, he should have hit that one.
2-2 pitch now with the bases loaded. Mississippi State down 4-1, but rallying here. Overthrew that one, misses low. We're going to get a full count, bases full pitch, and a chance to change this game right away.
And I don't think there'll be any secret what pitch is going to be called. He's going to be throwing a fastball, and he's going to be looking for a fastball down the heart of the plate.
Skip Bertman says he likes pitchers to challenge. This is a big moment. He's walked in 2 runs.
Just overthrew that ball a little bit.
We've gone from gorilla ball to charity ball.
Yes, indeed. The walks will haunt you. We've seen an awful lot of bases loaded situations here in the College World Series, and the hitters have really been able to benefit. Right here, he just tries to throw a little bit too much. You've seen him pulling the ball across his body a little bit. He's been outside. He really has been all over. Hasn't been consistent this inning like he was the first 2 innings.
Now he faces Brooks Bryan, the lefty, who worked him deep in the count and hit a hard single to center last time.
Well, I really like the way this guy hits. He's got a beautiful approach, nice soft front foot. He's got great balance, and he hits the left-hander as well as he does the right-hander. Look at those numbers.
Seems to enjoy this situation. He's got a little atoning to do, although his misplay in center field with the sun did not end up costing another run. Bases juiced for Brooks Bryan. It's suddenly a 4-2 game. Extra base hit here could give Mississippi State the lead. Kiesler's still got plenty of arm left, a little too much on most of these pitches. It's 2-1.
Well, you like to get your hot hitters up in the key situations, and Skip Bergman's well aware of how well Brooks Bryan has been swinging the bat. We saw him line the ball to center, but he has really swung the bat well here in this College World Series.
Kiesler checks the runner. Shot. They're going to hope to turn 2 here. McClure, Dalton, and they get out of it. That's exactly what Randy Kiesler needed, and you can see how much he enjoyed it. They're out to greet him. LSU fired up about holding them to just 2 runs on a double play on one of the toughest hitters in Mississippi State's lineup, Brooks Bryan. It's 4-2 LSU.
The game itself, and they play it that way. It's emotional. They're going to be up, down, all over the place. And the main thing you have to do as a coach, keep them focused, like you were saying.
You know, we got a peek in that dugout, and there's Pat McMahon, who has a long-standing relationship with Skip Bertman, who was a long-time assistant to Ron Frazier at that notorious Miami program. Pat was a high school kid, and then he went to Stetson, so he's very familiar from Skip Bertman's Florida days, and credits him with a lot that he's taught him over the years. Easy ground ball roller on the 0-1 pitch, and that's an easy out to get LSU started here in the first as Brad Freeman throws out Trey McClure.
Well, that was really nice right there, watching Freeman field this ground ball. Now watch what he does on this grounder. He'll square himself up. He'll peek to the side. Now when you get off to the side, you get a good view of it. Look at him circle around, come back, see the ball, pick it up, and come across and gun. You don't see a whole lot of infielders do that technique. That's the old way of fielding, and it's a great way to field the ball because you get to see it really clear.
That ball is hit hard, but right at center fielder Brooks Bryan. This time no problem with the sun. So first pitch swinging, Eddie Furness, as always, hits the ball hard, but this time right at Bryan.
That was a pretty stroke. Eddie Furness reminds me a lot of Wally Joyner. You know, when I watch him swing and the way he carries himself, even his personality, very laid back, reminds me a lot of Wally.
The ball seems to jump a little harder off his bat, though. I mean, Joyner's one of the best hitters in the majors. This guy seems a little more athletic. But yeah, even the way he runs is almost like Wally Joyner. The 2-out pitch. Here's the hero, the Hollywood moment, fittingly enough, since his dad is a coach with the LA Dodgers. And there he is again. Got a day off. One of the first he's ever been able to see his son, Brad Cresse. And he happened to be pumped up. Now he's gonna let, hey, you want to come to your seat when my kid's hitting?
He's waving us over there. You're good luck. Come here. Come back, Dave Ryan.
0-1 pitch. That one's wasted. 1-1.
Well, that's just one of the beautiful moments here in Omaha. Steps up there, his dad hits a home run for his dad, but the people here in Omaha have been so great, and that just kind of captured the whole thing.
This is low, 2-1, so now he's starting to remember who's up there.
Yeah, it's back to baseball.
Jeremy Jackson hoping for a 1-2-3 inning. That's what he had in the first, and then that explosion in the second that included 3 home runs, and the most dramatic. And it all started with Brad Cresse, who hit a shot into the power standard in right center field. 3-1 pitch. It'll be a hitter's pitch from Jeremy Jackson to Brad Cresse. Lays off it. That shows a lot of discipline here.
Yeah, he laid off a 3-1 changeup, but he's got an idea what he's trying to do at the plate. He's looking for a pitch he wants to juice, and he didn't get it. He was going to lay off it anyway. It just happened to be a ball. When you got power hitters, Gary, in your lineup, it just makes the pitcher work that much harder. You don't mind giving up singles. When you start giving up home runs, they add up.
That's what got him in trouble last time. He walked Furness, and then Cresse hit a 2-run homer off it. And then this guy, Clint Earnhardt, followed with back-to-back home runs, and they would eventually hit 3 straight homers in the second inning. That one is up and away, but he's coming in on the ball as Brian Wiesen at the foul line makes a running grab to end the third inning for LSU. So they strand a runner on Clint Earnhardt's fly out to right. MSU coming up after this tomorrow night. Kiesler mixes inside. Travis Chapman leading off here in the fourth. He struck out the first time he faced Kiesler looking.
Well, this is a big inning for Kiesler right here. You give up 2 after your team had came up with a big inning.
Fastball fouled off to the right side. Late in that one is Chapman, but he's got the count at 1-1.
We've already discussed how much momentum means in this ball game. Right now, Mississippi State has the momentum. You want to come back and shut them down. We'll see if that team meeting helped out or if he's been able to regroup himself.
1-1 pitch. Chapman lays off that, and it's 2-1.
Doesn't look like he quite has the same zip he had the first 2 innings either. He got himself in a situation where he had to throw a lot of pitches now.
2-1 pitch. That ball's hammered the other way, and again, he's a little late. It's 2-2. You know, the other interesting thing, Harold, as he came out, we showed the reactions that he was blaming himself, and Skip Bertman met with his team. One great thing that Jeremy Jackson did, even though he walked a batter, and it was a pretty quick inning, so Kiesler's right back out there.
Very important.
That ball's hit on the inside half, heading out towards left field and called off in left. Danny Higgins catches it and says, Josh Dalton, I got it, and Dalton will throw the relay back in, so he has handled Chapman pretty well.
That was a good pitch. He ran a fastball in on him, and that really wasn't a bad swing. He just missed this ball, but the ball tails right at the last fraction of a second and threw off his swing.
With those 3 walks he had in the third, Kiesler's now up to the 70 pitch count, and it's the 4th inning. But as Skip Bertman told us this morning, well over 100 pitches is nothing unusual at all in a college baseball game.
Yeah, he expects his pitchers to be able to throw 140, 160 pitches, which really is a lot, but he doesn't feel like it's that much.
0-1 pitch goes to the curve, and it misses high to Barry Patton, the MSU catcher, who also struck out in his first at bat. His average now below 300. Kiesler has struck out 132 batters in 96 innings. So he's averaging about 12 a game.
And that means you're going to throw a lot of pitches, but Skip Bergman knows what he's doing. He works with the pitchers himself personally on the team. He takes pride in that, but he's also been able to send a lot of pitchers to the big leagues, so he understands their future.
And he gets him to chase an outside fastball and even the count at 2-2. Very unusual. You could see we showed Kiesler coming off the mound last time, upset with himself, Harold.
Well, right here, gets a fastball out of the zone. You're not going to catch up to that one. You wonder why hitters swing at so many high fastballs, because your eyes are right there.
Outside corner for a called strike. He has struck out Patton twice now in this game. And there's that strikeout pitch working again.
Well, there's that liberal zone that we discussed earlier about college baseball. Now, this ball's off the plate, but if you're calling it on a consistent basis and you play the game, these college hitters know that's a strike here, and we're going to have to either live with it or die with it. You got to go ahead and swing.
Kiesler with those 3 walks last inning, we saw how upset he was with himself, blaming him for the 2 runs that Mississippi State scored. He is not a guy that walks a lot of batters. Very uncharacteristic for him to do what he did that inning. He only walked 29 in the season.
Well, last at bat, Knott got the base hit to left field. He threw a fastball just like he did right there by him, but he hung him a breaking ball on 1-2, and he hammered it into left field. Let's see if he makes him have to hit.
Just a little low there, and it's 1-1.
See if he continues to stay with that fastball this time around. 2 fastballs.
Got 5 strikeouts in this game, and here he is against John Knott with 2 out, and he's looking for a 1-2-3 inning. Really, last inning is the only inning he's struggled at all in.
Yeah, he really got out of sync and started trying to change his pitching pattern, and I think that's one of the reasons he got in trouble, Gary.
He seemed to lose it a little bit. Bertman called for the right pitches for him, but he just couldn't locate last inning.
And he changed up. You know, we saw the base hit by Knott to left field on the breaking pitch, and before that he's just been going right after guys with fastballs like we've seen this inning. I don't think he's throwing a breaking ball this whole inning.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. John Knott started things in the 3rd with a single. That's a pitch right through there to make the count full of 3-2. Of course, Knott started that inning with a leadoff single. Now there's nobody on and 2 outs here in the 4th of a 4-2 game.
There's no secret right here. That's 5 straight fastballs. Knott may as well be sitting there looking for a heater because it's coming.
It does. He fights it off back into the crowd.
Now, when you know a pitcher's going to throw a fastball, you're sitting on it, and you still get jammed, that means he's got a little hair on that pitch.
It's a whiskers. Right into the eyes of Randy Kiesler. That's what John Knott sees, and again, he's fighting it off. He knows he can't do much with it, but he's waiting for a pitch that he can.
Yeah, you just hope that you don't get a pitch like we saw the last hitter get called out on if he goes outside. You just battle, keep fighting until you get a pitch to hit.
3-2 pitch. Randy Kiesler looking for a 1-2-3 inning and trying to protect that 4-2 lead. Right back at us. You can hear him grunting.
Well, that's 3 straight 3-2 fastballs he's got. Now, the first one was outside a little bit. He fouled it off. He was a little late. I should say in. Jammed him. Now he's going a little bit further out, a little bit further out. Maybe he'll get something to hit here because each swing's getting a little bit better.
John Knott, a Floridian. One of the 2 non-Mississippi State players on Mississippi State. 3-2 count. Didn't mean to. Checked his swing. Going to be an easy play for Josh Dalton, who throws across the diamond and makes it a 1-2-3 inning. Knott made him work for it, but he holds on to his 4-2 lead. Randy Kiesler's teammates will be coming up 7-8-9 after this. Mustard on it, and that is across the street. It's quite a scene here in Omaha. If you've never been to the College World Series, it's fabulous. And if you haven't been to the Stanley Cup playoffs, you don't know what real ice hockey is about. It's LSU, and they go to the bunt, and he pops it up to the catcher, Wes Davis, trying to create an inning, and it didn't start out too well.
Well, he just hit a home run his last at bat, and he hammered that ball left center field. He drove, and then he goes up there and drops a bunt. I don't know if I'm swinging the bat that good. I don't think I might elect to bunt, but here it is. He gets a little late start. I think he was a little bit more concerned with digging the third baseman than necessarily getting the ball down. One thing you want to do when you're going to bunt for a base hit, you go up there, you have an idea what you want to do, go ahead and do it.
Blair Barbier.
It took me a long time to realize if I put the ball where I want it when I'm bunting, they can't defend it anyway. Instead of trying to fool the defensive player into not knowing that I'm bunting.
Now, what makes Blair Barbier stand out? Can you guess, Harold? What has he not done that all of his teammates have done, and don't you know he's probably hearing about it.
He hasn't hit a home run in this series.
There you go. But it's only the second game he's playing, so the way this game is going, as we mentioned earlier, they're only 3 home runs away from the all-time World Series record of 14 home runs in a series. They're not even halfway through their second game. Barbier hits that one. It's chopping over Travis Chapman, and he gets a single.
Well, we've noticed in the last couple of days, the first night of play, it had rained real hard the night before, so the grounds were a little bit wet. Right here, he gets on top of this ball. He hits it in the dirt right in front of the plate, and it bounces over to third baseman's head. Travis had no play on this ball whatsoever. He didn't even have a chance at getting that pitch, that grounder, I should say.
Now here's Cedric Harris, the number 9 hitter for Skip Bertman's team. Jimmy Jackson checks the runner. And had to worry about too many runners in this game. A lot of trotters, though, are starting to get on his nerves.
Yeah, there's a changeup right there that he got him out in front of, too. You know, he's not too worried about possible hit and run or someone hitting the ball to the ballpark. He's trying to get a ground ball, and he's going to get it with his changeup.
There's a look from first base. Good move. Right over there.
Well, he's known for having a good move, and right here he takes a long time to deliver. The deception is the key to any left-hander. A lot of times left-hander's best move, Gary, is to not even throw the ball because their motion freezes the runner. He's got a pretty good pickoff move.
1 pitch to Harris, misses high, 1-1.
Now what you'll see from a lot of left-handers is when they have a good move, you can see where he's spread out there. He will have to, when he lifts that leg and points it to you, right there, you're coming over.
Take that from a guy who knew how to steal a base in the major leagues, Harold Reynolds.
Yeah, I can steal a few. But that takes time. You know, you come out during your sprinting, you would have a coach stand there and work on things. You talk, you pick up keys.
Got a bigger lead this time.
You can look at gloves. See, when he pulls his hands to his head, he's going home. He comes over, he brings his hands to his body. Those are little things you look for. Some guys, you pick up the head turn. Other guys, you'll pick up the knee or the ankle. Now right here, watch him pull his hands right there, and he's coming home.
Got a 1-2 pitch. Harris way behind on that pitch. Barbier steps back to the bag. He doesn't go to him, and he misses low, and it's 2-2.
I'm not going to sit here on national TV and break down his pitches and mess up the rest of his career, but I've got him read already.
Some of these are common characteristics.
A lot of common things, yes.
Same kind of read. You know, it's interesting, too, Howard. We haven't had much chance for this. This is the 18th batter he's faced, but it's only the 3rd time he's faced one from the stretch.
Oh, my.
That ball could carry. Headed for right and gone. Cedric Harris joins the home run parade. That's the 4th home run of the game, and it's a 2-run shot, and their lead is back to 4 as LSU continues. We got a zoo right nearby, and Gorilla Ball is alive and well here at Rosenblatt.
Well, Gary, what's setting up LSU's hitting? We saw the 1 home run to left center field. We saw the home run that Cresse hit to right, and then right here, hitting the ball to right field. When you're facing a left-hander who throws a lot of change-ups, you want your approach to be the other way. He's thinking about hitting this ball to right field, and that is why he was able to have plate coverage and just drive it. He knew without a doubt as soon as it left the bat, it was going out of the ballpark.
Cedric Harris also homered against the Trojans. That's his 9th of the year. It brings up Danny Higgins, who takes a swing and a strike, 0-1. So that's 12 home runs now in this World Series. They haven't even played a game and a half, and they are 2nd all-time for home runs in a World Series and just 2 away from the all-time record.
Well, I think what we're losing here.
That ball's hit a mile high in that triangle between the second and center. His ball is carrying a bit. It ends up out at Brooks Bryan. He's having a little bit of an adventure out there, but he makes the grab. Let's go down to Dave Ryan in the stands.
Well, Gary, LSU certainly has a certain approach to facing Jeremy Jackson today. Now, as Harold mentioned a few moments ago, the changeup really is his best pitch. What they're trying to do is wait until the last possible second when he releases the ball. A couple of guys told me during batting practice today they want to make sure they see the ball out of his hand because he has 3 changeups: slow, slower, and slowest. Very good at changing speeds, but Harold, obviously they're timing it out pretty well. And as you mentioned, going to right field exceptionally well today.
Except when they pull the ball hard, Davis. Josh Dalton just did, but he had to be aggressive. He has struck out twice earlier to Jackson, but he jumps on the first pitch.
Well, he got on top of the plate also. And when you get on top of the plate against a left-hander who fades the ball away, he's going to come in and bust in. So he set him up. He's looking for something that he wanted to hit. You got to give these LSU hitters some credit. Now, we're talking an awful lot about all the home runs, but these guys have had great at-bats. They're not striking out. They're going up there. They're making contact. They're staying within themselves, and they're so strong that they're going to hit the ball to the ballpark. But I know a lot of people that are strong that are not good hitters. These guys are strong and good hitters.
Jackson has got 2 outs, but he's given up 3 hits in this inning, including the 4th home run he's allowed this game.
Well, that was a nice little freeze right here. He freezes the runner. Now he's coming over. That might have been a balk because he actually started.
Yeah, he threw across his. He was going one way and he changed directions with his body.
Now,
that one misses low.
What you'll learn when you talk to a lot of left-handed pitchers is they already have in their mind made up, I'm going home or I'm coming to first. Before they get into their stretch, they already have an idea. They don't all of a sudden get there and go, oh, he's got a big lead, let me go ahead and throw. You see how he's moving his head. He's not even looking at the runner. He had his mind made up. He was already going to throw that ball home.
1-0 pitch is off the plate. That's 2-0.
And that's another thing you learn. You learn and study tendencies of what guys might do. It's not necessarily if he has a great move or doesn't. It's where's his concentration at? Is he focused over here, or has he already got his mind made up?
Dalton is the threat to steal for LSU, and he gets him back to the bag. Dalton also, you saw that hard line single as he pulled the ball. The other guys who were hitting home runs, as Dave Ryan mentioned, they're getting up in that jet stream out to right. Dalton and Barbier are the only guys who don't have home runs in this World Series for LSU. They both had singles this inning. McClure swings through that one. It's 2-1.
Jackson hasn't had an easy task yet. This is not an easy lineup to pitch to.
Well, they look ready. You know, the other thing, too, Harold, they played in the afternoon on Saturday. Mississippi State played a night game, so they're used to these conditions a little bit more than the Bulldogs are, too. Trying to keep Dalton close to keep this score at 4 runs, which it is now, which Skip Bertman's club has had since they homered 3 times in the 2nd inning. Dalton with a pretty good lead, and he's going. Going with the pitch. If it falls, he's going to get to third, and he does. On the run and hit single, Trey McClure gets his first hit of this game, and that brings up Eddie Furness, one of the hitting heroes of this team, and he is now the only LSU Tiger without a hit in the lineup today.
Well, hitting is nothing but recognition, and the more you face a guy, the better you get the chance to hit. Now look at him. His approach is going to right field. He ends up getting a changeup and drilling it. Boy, he got a great jump over there. He would have had that bag no problem. Sometimes you go, oh, man, don't swing right here. But you end up first and third.
So McClure's got a hit. They've got 8 hits on the day. 4 of those are home runs. And here's one of their biggest home run bats, Eddie Furness, as Brian Compton is sooner or later going to have to try his luck against this lineup. He's in the pen, and he'll be the next pitcher for Mississippi State.
Well, Gary, the advantage here really goes to the hitters. The more you see a pitcher, the more familiar you become with what he has and how he's going to throw. Having played in the same conference really puts Mississippi State, Jeremy Jackson, at a disadvantage. Had he played for another team and these guys hadn't seen him, his stuff would be that much more effective. Particularly a changeup. Once you find out that a guy throws a changeup and like Dave Ryan said, he throws 3 different types of changeups. You only learn that from playing with him. The scouting report doesn't do you any good. They can tell you all you want, but when you see it, that's the key of making adjustments.
1-1 pitch with 2 aboard in the 4th. It's already 6-2. Furness hammers that one foul, 1-2.
It's like doing a broadcast with you. The more I work with you, the more I understand.
There you go.
Hey, when I can jump in, when I can't. Now you see the second baseman playing all the way back. But he wants to just cut anything down. Maybe that's telling you, again, playing against Eddie Furnace, that he's going to pull a ground ball.
That one misses low. Jackson pitching him carefully. This will probably be his last batter. They're leaving the lefty in against the lefty with Cresse on deck. Furnace, the only batter, as we mentioned, in the lineup without a hit. 57 of his 94 hits on the season are for extra bases. That is where you get a 900 slugging percentage.
Well, he hammered that one to right center last time, too.
2-2, 2 out in the fourth. Goes off speed, and he gets him guessing wrong. Strikes out Furnace looking. The biggest bat in the lineup is the only one that hasn't produced because everyone else has. Cedric Harris's 2-run homer has given LSU a 6-2 advantage through 4 over Mississippi State. Bracket here on this side of the World Series. 2 SEC teams. There's 3 in all. Mississippi State stunned Florida in the opener to get into this winner's bracket game. That's the top seed in this tournament, but LSU is the 2-time defending champion of this tournament. And Harold, another thing that we talk about with Skip Bertman, and when you've won a couple of world national titles and you've won 4 in the 90s, you are the team of the 90s. He obviously sets his team up with this week in mind.
Oh, no doubt about it. And you go to that school in hopes that the fact that you will be in Omaha. You set your schedule around the fact that you think you'll get there. And it's great for your program.
That ball's hit hard, gets past Kiesler, and dribbles through the middle for Chris Lauderhouse. A seeing eye single to get things started for Mississippi State. Let's go down to Dave Ryan.
Well, guys, LSU shortstop Josh Dalton is from Caprillion, Nebraska, nearby, just about 15 miles from here. He has a very special ritual he performs each time the Tigers take the field. Dalton scrawls his mom's initials, CD, for Charlene Dalton, in the infield dirt. Charlene passed on from cancer in 1985, but remains in Josh's thoughts each and every day. Been a very special week for Josh to be so close to his hometown. His dad is here from Iowa. And overall, they're just trying to take in the emotion and how special an event it is for Josh Dalton to be in Omaha and playing at Rosenblatt Stadium, guys.
Thanks, Dave. It is quite a story. And, as you had mentioned earlier, Harold, he played at Nebraska for a while and then got down to this program.
Well, and that's another fact that we were just talking about Skip Bertman's program, going to Omaha. Everybody wants to play in the College World Series if you go play college baseball. That's why he went there.
This is outside, and it's 2-0. Brian Weiss is hitting .420s, 1 for 2 in this game. He has scored one of the 2 runs, but they got them all in the third on 2 bases loaded walks. Since then, Randy Kiesler has had much more control.
Well, Gary, one of the things about Dalton being at shortstop, you have to learn to be the leader. And so one of the responsibilities you give your shortstop is you make the call on the potential hit and run. Who's going to cover the bag? Right there we see the open mouth, closed mouth.
Kiesler still getting it up there in a hurry, right through Brian Weiss, 2-2.
And what you do with open mouth, closed mouth is you open mouth means you, closed mouth meaning me. Me, hey you. And right there, the second baseman answers back with you.
See if we get a ground ball to see it on, but we won't. Kiesler gets his 6th strikeout of the game. Weiss way behind that one.
Gary, you hit it on the head. He's got back to where he was at a couple innings ago. He just reaches back and throws a fastball by him right here. He threw about 3 of them by him in that at-bat right there. Wasn't going to catch up to it.
He's in the mitt. Rusty Toms now comes up to the plate.
Now, back to the curveball fastball thing. Your shortstop will give the sign. He has the responsibility. And the second baseman gives the opposite to let you know that, yes, I understand what you're saying. If you give the same thing, then you're both in trouble. So at least you know that you're on the sync on the same page.
Here he nears 100 pitches. Those walks took up a lot of those. When he gets ahead, he's pitching well. He's got 6 strikeouts, and we're in the 5th inning. He's also got a 6-2 lead. 0-1 pitch off the plate, and it's 1-1 to Rusty Toms.
Now, as an example, in this situation, with Rusty Toms being a right-handed hitter with a left-handed pitcher, your second baseman is more than likely going to cover. So Dalton would give the sign and say, you got it. That's how it works.
Fouls that back to the screen. It's 1-2. You hear that cheering in the background. Here at Omaha's Rosenblatt Stadium, they really appreciate souvenir time, and especially if you make an outstanding effort to grab yourself one.
Roll it!
Ball hit fair, just barely, but late on the throw across the diamond. Beating it out with a little bit of speed is Rusty Toms, and Blair Barbier had to make a decision there, decided to field it, and he just couldn't get over there in time.
Well, the reason this ball ends up being a base hit, Gary, is hit down the line. Now, where the third baseman's at, he has to break towards the line and then circle back to make the throw. That's a long ways to have to make this throw. He's already in foul territory, comes back, and has to cut loose. See him circle this ball and have to come back around. Now, had he been playing on the line, he's already there to catch it and throw. That's why he has enough time to go ahead and beat this grounder out.
Also seemed to have a little trouble getting it out of his glove there because he took 2 or 3 more steps towards first as he tried to get it over there. Get over there. Oh, now there's a good use of the off-speed pitch. Maybe one of his best of the day, Harold.
Yeah, he got Freeman looking for the fastball, and I would go up there looking for a fastball first pitch, too, and he threw him a little bit of an off-speed pitch. When he's got runners in scoring position and on base, he's gone a little bit more off-speed. Now, it got him in trouble in the one big inning that they had.
Chapman runs in behind the runner, gets him back to second, and then he comes back with a fastball and makes it a low 2 count on Brad Freeman. And Mississippi State was here a year ago, so they have some players with College World Series experience of their own. Freeman has a .333 average in 15 CWS at bats, and he's got an opportunity here to put the Bulldogs back in this game. Cresse lined up way off the plate there.
Well, another reason, Gary, I think we're going to see a little bit more offense from Mississippi State is they do play in the same conference. Hitting is nothing but recognition, and the more you see a pitcher, the more you're going to recognize what he throws, and it becomes an advantage to the hitter instead of the pitcher. First time around, the pitcher's got an advantage because you've never seen him.
Rusty Thompson, Chris Lauderhouse aboard, and that one just got away from Keesler, and it's a 2-2 count now. He's getting in some dangerous territory here with Brad Freeman at the plate, Richard Lee and Brooks Bryan behind him, 2 of the most dangerous hitters for MSU. And so it's a situation in which the Bulldogs can come back against a team they've played 5 times previously and beat them 3 times, most recently in the SEC tournament. Here is the 2-2 pitch from Keesler with 2 aboard in the 5th. Just misses, and it's going to be full. So now we're going to see the runners.
And plus, you've seen how Brad Freeman has become more comfortable as the at-bat has gone on. And that only comes because he's faced this young man before.
3-2 pitch from Keesler. Goes with the gas, and Freeman fouls it into the seats to keep it full.
Now, if you remember the last time he faced Freeman, we showed you the sequence. He had him 0-2. He had thrown him 2 fastballs and threw it by him. And then he came back and walked him on 4 straight fastballs. This time he started him off with the breaking pitch. And Freeman has battled to a 3-2 count. So we'll see what he does here 3-2. Now, most of the game, he's gone with the straight fastball 3-2, Gary.
There you get a good look at Brad Freeman. He's the son of Steve Freeman, who, if you're a big NFL fan, you may remember he played for the Buffalo Bills. And we'll see if he can blitz a shot here. He skewers it. That's going to be tough. And in between Huff, you got to get over there, but he's late to the bag. And beating him to the bag is Brad Freeman, and has the wheels of maybe an NFL defensive back.
Wow, he turned on some jets. You saw him about 3/4 of the way down, just absolutely turn on the speed and outrun the pitcher. Now he cues this ball. You see Keesler fall off hard the other way, so there's no way he's going to beat him. And that's another reason you want your third hitter to be an athlete. He just kept the rally alive with a ground ball.
Well, Skip Bertman's got his bullpen ready, bases loaded, and here we are, one of those 4+ again, Harold. You want that 4-run lead for this very situation. It means that until you load the bases, you can't touch me with 1 batter. Well, here's the guy that can do it, Richard Lee, although he does not have a grand slam this season. He's got an opportunity to cut into this 4-run lead. Hits the ball hard, nearly takes out his coach at third base, and is 1-1.
Well, the interesting thing about Mississippi State, it seems like every time they've been able to start a rally, it's been no outs or 1 out. Most teams start rallies with 2 outs. They've been fortunate enough to come to the plate with 1 out with your 3-hitter or your 4-hitter with an opportunity to do some damage.
That's why that double play to end the 3rd against their best hitter, Brooks Bryan, was huge. Then he got a 1-2-3 inning, but now he's got a lot of trouble. One out, bases loaded. That ball's hit foul, the right side. Heading for the bullpen. And he's ahead 1-2 on Richard Lee.
Well, he's been getting ahead of the hitters. He hasn't been able to put them away. Now, when your fastball is your primary pitch and you don't use your breaking pitch very often, you don't put hitters away.
That's Brandon Bowe warming up down the third base line. You would think, as that pitch misses inside to Richard Lee to even the count at 2-2, you would think that Kiesler would also pitch to Brooks Bryan, the lefty, although Bryan did get a single off him the first time he faced him.
Well, in this situation, he's got to go right after Lee.
He's 0 for 1. He walked with the bases loaded last time. This time on a 2-2 pitch, he moves it to 3-2, and he may walk again. It's the exact same situation he faced in the third. Skip Bertman, last time he called for a pitch from Kiesler, it missed low and away, or low in the middle of the plate, and that walked in a run.
Well, Gary, that's what I'm saying. If you don't have an off-speed pitch, hitters are going to adjust to the fastball. Pretty soon they're going to catch up to it.
3-2 pitch to Richard Lee, and he misses low again, and he has walked in a run for the third time in this game.
Now, here's an example of what we're talking about. He hasn't been able to throw the breaking ball for strikes. Now, he gets a little breaking ball there, ball one. Now, as a hitter, I'm sitting on a fastball. He pulls it hard, foul, and then he gets another one. Now, he's 1-2. You want to go back to the hook. He can't throw it for a strike, so I eliminate that pitch. I'm not worried about it, and that's why Lee looks so good taking those pitches. When you're not throwing the breaking ball for strikes, you eliminate it from your mind as a hitter, and you're sitting on one pitch. Now that 90 goes to 85 because you're already expecting and anticipating the fastball, and you're able to slow it down with your eyes.
So here's Brooks Bryan. Got the first hit of the game off Kiesler, a solid single in the second. Then, with the bases loaded, bounced into a double play in the third. Now in the fifth, bases loaded again. Hits a solid shot that almost takes off Kiesler's head. That'll score 2. And Brooks Bryan, whose coach Pat McMahon told us the lefties don't bother him much, it's a solid 2-run single to make it a 6-5 game.
Boy, that was a pretty stroke, Gary. Now, I remember the other night we were having a conversation. Look at this fastball. He stays on this and hammered it. Now, remember, once again, Brooks Bryan's on the on-deck circle. He eliminates the breaking ball from his mind, too, and he's going up there looking for a fastball. Now, Gary, we had a conversation the other night during the game where you said best thing could have happened, he didn't hit a home run right there. Kept the momentum alive, and we've talked about that already in the college game. Momentum is huge.
Here's Travis Chapman, 7th hitter in the inning. It's now a 1-run game. Kiesler starts him with a breaking pitch that misses up a little bit, 1-0.
And now all of a sudden Travis Lee's sitting there going, I've seen 3 hitters, and he hasn't thrown a breaking ball for a strike yet. Don't think they're not talking about that in the Mississippi dugout.
Here's Travis Chapman, who's 0 for 2. He struck out looking his first time up, flew out to left field last time. And it's 1-1 with 1 out, and now a 1-run game. They're down the third baseline, Brandon Bowe. In fact, you might even be a little surprised that Kiesler's still in this game. And this most likely will be his last batter, depending on how it's played out. They are hammering him, Harold. They're ahead of it now, whereas earlier they were way behind on Kiesler.
And that's what happens when you're not able to throw the breaking ball. Now, two reasons behind that is, one, he's later in the game, he's throwing a lot of pitches, so he's lost a little bit of steam on the fastball. But when you're not throwing that breaking ball, I've been harping on it a lot. When it's not a strike, hitters just throw that out the window, and you sit on that fastball, and it's easy to hit when you know what's coming.
Use a strikeout here. He's already struck out Chapman once in the game. The breaking ball down to third. They're going to try and turn 2. Got him on a great relay. Barbier, McClure, and Furness. And they keep their lead, but it's down to 1 run. 6-5. That's twice that he's gotten big double plays behind him. And Mississippi State is
last week that was one of his memorable moments, and he tried to tell me he hit 3 homers to win it for him, but I know that wasn't true.
This is a guy with a lot of memorable moments, too. On and off.
Ah, Soup, I'm just playing. I know you didn't tell me that.
All right, we come to the bottom of the 5th now, and LSU would love to pad that lead because it's all but gone. Here's Brad Cresse, who has provided, I would say, perhaps the most magical moment of this World Series so far.
That might be the magical moment of any World Series. That just doesn't happen. Little League, Major League, that was great.
0-1 pitch, he lays off that as well. If you weren't with us earlier, His dad, Mark, is the bullpen coach for the Dodgers. It's pretty tough to get a day off when you're working in the major leagues. The Dodgers had one off. He comes here on a Monday afternoon. As we're talking to him, Brad Cresse homers just as his dad said he came to see. We kind of laughed and said, oh, yeah, okay, Pop. Well, he hit one on Saturday, and he hits one in his first at-bat today with his dad looking on in front of an ESPN camera. That ball's hit hard but high into shallow right field. Battling the sun, but making the catch is Brian Weiss. And Cresse makes his first out of the game. If you weren't with us, here it is in the second inning. The pitch from Jeremy Jackson, and thunder off the bat of Brad Cresse. Heads for the parking lot right by the power utility pole, which was fitting. And there's Mark Cresse, who was beside himself. There were little tears welling in his eyes, Harold.
Oh, yeah. That's a moment you wait for your whole life.
Here's Clint Earnhardt, and right after Cresse, we didn't even have time to fully enjoy that moment because Earnhardt, the next batter, homered, and then Wes Davis made it back to back to back, and that's one of the big reasons that LSU is still in front in this game, 6-5. He didn't appreciate what he did with that pitch, but it could be trouble over there. High sun, Weiss loses it again. That ball falls in. He's going to try and stretch it, and he'll get an unusual double.
What's up, Clamp?
Well, once again, that ball, I was just getting ready to say how great Jackson was starting to settle down, too. He got 2 pop-ups, but here's the ball in the sun. Now, Weiss has got the glasses on, but he doesn't block the sun out. Now, he tried to let him know, I don't see it. So often, trying to just put the ball, the glove up there and block the sun doesn't always do it. Sometimes you have to turn your body to a different angle. Chad Curtis of the Yankees is one of the best guys I've seen doing that. Turns his body sideways. If you turn sideways, you get a different look at it. Right there, he just clearly did not see it.
He wasn't even close to that ball, though.
He did not see it.
Didn't mean to swing. We've had a couple of indecisions here in this inning. They get the unassisted put out at first base. Moving on to third is Clint Earnhardt, but there's now 2 outs here in the 5th. So here's Blair Barbier. He singled his last time up.
Well, Gary, it's interesting. Jackson now, he threw a changeup to get Cresse to pop up. He got the pop fly there. The runner ended up on second base, and right there he got the breaking ball. So he's trying to change his pattern a little bit. Showing these hitters a little something different, keeping them off rhythm.
Barbier singled his last at bat and scored ahead of Cedric Harris. There you see he's at 83 pitches, 9 hits. A couple of those have been sun-aided hits. He's only walked 2 and he struck out 4. And now he's facing Blair Barbier in a 1-run game with a runner at third, 2 outs in the 5th. That ball's hit hard and almost took out Clint Earnhardt at third base. Fortunately, he was in foul territory, and fortunately, he was looking.
Once again, he kept the hitter off balance. Gets him reaching for a little change up here and hooks it. Now, you better look out. A little hop, skip, jump. And once again, the runner's in foul territory. In case that ball hits him, it's a dead ball in foul territory, not fair.
1-1 pitch from Jackson. That ball's hit hard. It's up in the air, and it is going over, well over Rusty Tom's head, almost over the bleachers. Barbier with a home run, and the gorilla ball continues to flex here at Rosenblatt Stadium. What was a 1-run game is right back to where they wanted it. It's 8-5.
Well, he went up into the clubhouse in between at bats, and he heard Gary Miller say, "You're the only guy on the team that hasn't joined the home run parade." No, actually, he got a fastball and just hammered this baby into the seats. Watch this. Now, he'd seen a changeup, saw the breaking ball, and he got a fastball. He knew it as soon as he hit it.
So that's where the sun and not playing the ball really comes back to haunt you, as it turns into a 2-run homer. So Barbier now has put things in Josh Dalton's hands. He's the only player in the LSU lineup without a home run in this World Series. They have 13 of them now, and that's 1 away from the all-time record. Out comes Jeremy Jackson. Not all his fault, but his team is down 8-5. Compton's coming in. We come back. The winner's bracket of this side of the College World Series. Bottom of the 5th, LSU still hitting. Boy, they're hitting 5 home runs. The 2-run shot by Blair Barbier has given him this lead and has brought on a new pitcher, Harold.
Well, Gary, Yeah, Compton comes in, and he's going to be a guy that's going to go after the hitters. Fastball, slider, change. That's what he's going to come at you with. Now, you saw the sun right there. That's the sun they're contending with. Now, a lot of times we're seeing a lot of balls lofted. With the blue sky, you can see the clouds, but they're way out of what you need to be looking at as a fielder. The clouds help you determine the depth perception of the ball. And when you have a clear blue sky, it makes it even that much more difficult, no matter if you get your glove up or not. It's tough. High sky is hard to find the ball. And that's what they've been contending with, and that's why we've seen a couple miscues on fly balls.
1-1 count. Compton facing Cedric Harris, who has one of those 5 homers for LSU. That ball's hit hard, but stopped nicely by Travis Chapman. He goes across the diamond and gets him out of the inning. But again, they have homered for the 5th time in this game. Blair Barbier's 2-run shot after the sun-aided ball put Clint Earnhardt aboard has given them an 8-5 pass. The World Series, the winner's bracket, LSU and Mississippi State, that's what they're staring into, not a cloud in the sky. Mississippi State also staring into another deficit. After they had cut it to 1 run, after being behind most of this game by 4 runs, it's back up to a 3-run lead at 8-5 as Barry Patton, the Bulldog catcher, leads off the 6th against Randy Kiesler.
Kiesler got back to his game a little bit, but trying to reach that back and throw that fastball one more time. Now, we got into it a little bit last inning, Gary, how when he's not throwing that breaking ball, as you see an 83-mile-an-hour fastball, he's losing a little zip. He was up 89, 90, 91 a couple times early in the game.
Goes to the breaking ball, popped it up. Cresse keeps the mask on, thinks it's headed for the seats, and it does. He bounces off the LSU dugout.
Just showing that you can throw the breaking ball for a strike all of a sudden changes the whole approach of the hitter. When you know a guy cannot throw a breaking ball for a strike, that fastball becomes that much more hittable. It's almost like when you go to the batting cage, and pretty soon you take a few swings at the cage and you can't catch up to it, and after you take a few swings, you get the gauge down, and it looks like it's throwing a little bit slower. Well, the speed hasn't changed. It's just you've adjusted to it. And that's what happens with a hitter facing a pitcher that's throwing nothing but fastballs. You make that adjustment, and pretty soon that 90-mile-an-hour fastball looks like it's 85.
116th pitch for Kiesler. This time he misses low. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, as he gets the count full on Barry Patton. That's not an unusually high pitch count. For a major leaguer, he's going to save that multi-million-dollar arm. Kiesler is not running into problems due to stress, just due to the Mississippi State order. We showed that sun, and there it comes into play again for Furness at first base. So on a 3-2 pitch, he gets him to pop up, thinks he can get out of it, and now LSU gets thwarted by Saul.
Well, I don't know if it was necessarily he lost it or just a lack of communication. Now, they're both going after the ball. Cresse has flipped his mask off. He's going hard. Furness, he's coming now. He looks at the catcher, and that's where he lost the ball at. Look at him. Now, he'll look over at the catcher. He didn't ever say, I don't see it. He looked at the catcher. I don't know if they didn't hear communicate right
it looked like somebody didn't call that ball. This one's coming up, Harold.
I don't have it.
Oh, just a little bit to our right.
I saw it, though.
Because you got a warning.
Well, I was gonna
See, we're in the shade
I
here,
got my glasses
so we don't have to worry about this bright
be
sun.
ready.
Preparation, folks.
You gotta be ready.
That's why he's a big league. Full count now to Barry Patton. Oh, and he grunts through a strikeout there as he blew some serious cheese past Barry Patton, and he has struck him out 3 times now.
Well, this is locating the fastball. He put it in the right spot. He put it up and away and made him chase it actually down and away. Good movement on that pitch. We were right by him. Nothing worse than knowing what's coming and you miss it. That's so frustrating as a hitter.
Purple and gold Ks. There's 7 of them now for this game, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast. Kiesler averages 12 per 9 innings. That ball is hammered, and that's no strikeout. It goes banging off the base of the wall in center field. And quite a shot from John Knott, who the DH slides in safely with a double. off Randy Kiesler following the strikeout by Patton.
Knott has really had some good at-bats today. Right there, just jumped on a fastball and drove it into the gap. Cedric Harris, man, he jumped on that ball quick, though. Got it back in. And look at this. Here's the fastball. He just put this one down over and whew, not crushed that ball. He gets it up, it's gone, but he hit it on the line so much.
Skip Bertman out on the mound talking to Kiesler. Looks like he's going to lead him in. He's discussing some things with him.
Well, it's interesting when he goes out to the mound, you're not only just talking mechanics now, you're talking pitch selection and everything else because Bertman is calling the pitches.
He's up to 121 now.
Ideally, you would like him to pitch you into the 7th, but just pitching into the 6th inning here in Omaha is something special.
It's Chris Lauderhouse. Singled his last time up. Ball right through the infield. He takes a fast strike. Apparently Bertman said this is probably going to be your last inning. Get us out of this one. Keep it close. Try to strand that runner. And stay at 8-5. That double by John Knott is the first extra base hit. This one hit in a similar spot, but much shallower. Easy play for Harris in center. Hit right at him. Didn't have to worry too much about the sun on that one.
Well, the one thing I do like about Kiesler is it looks like Bertman's getting ready to take him out, is he stayed within his game. His team was ahead, and he just kept throwing it right after the hitter. And you like that about the pitcher.
So a good performance. He's in position to win this game. But Skip Bertman, the Skip, is going to take him out. When we come back, Brandon Bowe will be in the game.
Hi, Randy Barnett with several reasons to buy now.
Swinging. In the second inning, he struck out Chapman and Patton. That gave him 4 through the first 2 innings. They did some damage to him in the 3rd, but he struck out Patton again in the 4th. Struck out Brian Weiss. And he got the hat trick on Barry Patton before he left. Struck him out 3 times. 123 pitches. He leaves with 2 outs here in the 6th. If those 7 strikeouts were a dominating performance, he was a little wild, Harrows, which really hurt him. He walked in 3 runs, really didn't give up a lot. All the hits off him, that double that's gotten John Knott on second base in this inning is the only extra base hit he's given up, and now Brandon Bowe's in.
Well, plus he got those 2 big ground ball outs with the bases loaded that he needed also. So he struggled, but he came through when he needed to come through, and now he turned over to Brandon Bowe. Brandon's the type of guy, he's going to be around the plate. He's going to show you a changeup, and he'll come after you once again with fastballs. We'll see another guy that's going to challenge you with fastballs.
You see more strikeouts than innings pitched. That's a pretty good indicator that he's got a little bit of speed on his ball. He's low and away. He's even got the delivery of a reliever.
And he's another guy that's going to give you innings, though. He can throw long or he can go short for you. Swingman type of guy that Berkman's been able to use him in that role.
1-out count to leadoff man Brian Weiss. Hung a slider there and he fouls it back, and it's 1-1. Brian Bowe is in to finish this inning off, but he may not be in there long. Doug Thompson is the pitching ace of this team. If LSU can win this game, though, he's going to get a couple of days off, so they may bring Thompson in for a few innings here.
Well, it's a critical game. If you get those couple days off, you're able to come back with your #1 guy, and you're able to reset your rotation however way you want to do it. And this man has experienced it. He knows how to go through this bracket and win some games and win the whole thing. Obviously, he's done it the last 2 years.
Thompson won the first game when they beat USC. They're facing another team in those deep burgundy colors. And they're up 8-5. They're also doing a lot like they did to USC, going long on them. Thompson pitched 3 innings in relief against the Trojans. Gave up just 2 hits, struck out 2 batters. So if we see him, he's a guy with some experience in this series. But right now it's Brandon Bowe, and he hits a batter. We've seen a ton of that in this series as well. That one clips Brian Weiss. Now there's 2 aboard, and he'll have to face the tying run in Rusty Toms. Patrick Mann comes out to see if he's all right.
We really have seen a lot of hit batsmen. And right here, he just tries to bust him inside with a fastball. Remember, they're learning how to pitch inside. There's a lot more pitching inside in college baseball. The target's set up outside, so this ball just runs. You can see Cresse just trying to throw a little hockey goalie grab up there. But this ball just ran back in on the hitter and caught him, just grazed him right in the arm. He got the base.
Yeah, hit him on the backhand. You see Brandon Bowe's shirt sleeves barely fit him. This is a guy that LSU does a lot of weight training. Something that Skip Bertman will tell you about number 19, Smitty, too, in the special story there. It'll take a little time to tell you, so we'll get to that next time LSU's out in the field. That ball's fouled back there.
But yeah, Gary, they lift weights, and that's a big trend in college baseball. And also creatine. You know, he talked about his players take it. Everybody in the SEC takes it.
0-1 pitch. This is high in the zone. And it's a 1-on-1 count to Rusty Toms. Toms had an active day. He struck out looking. He walked. And he also singled and scored his last time up in the 5th. LSU is a loose bunch. They would probably look the same if they were down 8-5 or 12-5. But they're up 8-5. Both slider is not fooling Rusty Toms. He goes the other way with it with 2 outs. They're going to send the runner. John Knott is ahead of the tag by Cresse. And it is suddenly an 8-6 game as Knott shows some speed.
What a pick and tag by Cresse, though. That was beautiful. Rusty Tom, great piece of hitting. We talked about him choking up earlier. He doesn't strike out a lot. They're not afraid to go ahead and go the opposite way. And watch this swing. 2 strikes. He's going to just go ahead and fight it off. Got the base hit over the second baseman's head. And watch this throw. Now watch Cresse pick and slide. He goes away, picks, comes back and slaps it. Great play by the catcher, but not just hustling. Just beats the throw. But what a great pick and slide. He even tried to block the plate. He did everything you could possibly do.
Wes Davis with a pretty good throw. That was shallow to right, but with 2 outs, the runners were going on it.
There it is. Full speed angle. It's a pretty play.
Cresse made that a lot closer than it probably should have been, and this game's closer than it was. It's 8-6 when we come back.
How do you get this equipment to these troops when there's a river between them?
What a good athlete Brad Freeman, the shortstop for Mississippi State, is. He was quite a high school quarterback out of Oxford, Mississippi. In fact, his father, Steve, as those guys mentioned, a longtime defensive back for the Buffalo Bills, says his former Bills teammate, quarterback Joe Ferguson, who's now the quarterback coach at Arkansas, saw Brad and Peyton Manning, evaluated both of them. He said Brad had more potential than Peyton Manning did out of high school to be a quarterback in college and, guys, maybe in the NFL. Pretty high praise, I'd say.
Yeah, he could be making a heck of a lot of money as Peyton Manning is right now. And if he's got a long throw to make across the diamond, we'll know he's got the juice.
Well, he's got the juice. He made a throw the other night in the hole in Mississippi State night game, and it was a rocket. But I didn't know that about being a quarterback. That's quite high praise. Joe Ferguson, he had to have been one of your heroes.
Bigfoot Ferguson of the Dodgers, maybe, who, if we want to talk about Mark Cresse's dad, but Joe Ferguson, the Buffalo Bills. I admire the fact he played a long time. Harold, you said me. You know, the other thing that Dave Ryan had mentioned the other day when we were talking to Pat McMahon, how do you get a guy out of Oxford, Mississippi, the home of Ole Miss, to come to Starkville and play for Mississippi State? Well, he just told you the reason. His dad went to Mississippi State, and that's the tie-in.
We'll
Pat McMahon, his first year, Harold, he gets to the World Series, following a coaching legend in Ron Polk. Pretty tough situation to be in, but that's the kind of team they've been this year, battle against a lot of odds.
Yeah, great. Ron Polk left a nice legend there, left some players for him to pick up on, and Pat was excited about getting that program, and he's continued to keep a rich tradition. Ron Polk coaching on the Olympic team. He's actually in Arizona right now during the trials. His son plays on this ball club, and he said to make sure that we told his dad hi, his son being Scott Polk.
I would imagine Dad's watching.
He's definitely, any baseball fans got to be watching this.
All right, we have a dispute here now. Checking something out. There could be, a lot of times it's an optical thing.
Yeah, it's probably a reflector or maybe a light or something. You guys watch. He's asking him to take his watch off because the third baseman can't see. I'd have to leave it on. I'm a Mississippi State fan.
He's got a leather band.
No, but he's got the gold, the
Right,
white
on
face.
the lens.
I can't, but I've never seen that ever. Excuse me, can you tell that fan to take that shirt off because it's a white shirt in Fenway and I can't see the ground ball.
Well, third base umpire Nick Zabelli is spending most of his time next to Blair Barbier, so apparently they've become friendly enough that he'll do anything for him.
That's college baseball. What does our man Skip Bertman say college baseball is?
It's a kid's game. It's not real baseball. But this is an outstanding game with a 2-2 count, and it's 2 outs and 2 aboard in a 2-run game with number 1-2 at the plate, Brad Freeman.
Put that pen down, Gary. I can't see your scorecard.
You couldn't read it anyways.
It's amazing. Oh, well, anyway.
Big pitch now from Doug Thompson. Freeman fights that one off as well.
All right, where are we? 2-2, 2 outs.
Oh, no, check your watch. Oh, you had to take it off.
Okay.
Cresse sets up outside. He goes with the pitch and pops it a mile high. Now, there's no watch in the eyes, but that sun is tough. Out there is Wes Davis, and he makes the grab. So more often than not, the sun has won that battle, but this time Davis makes a big play with the tying runs aboard. It is still 8-6 LSU coming up to bat. No errors in the game, but the sun has been a major factor, especially where the Bulldogs are concerned. Fighting it all the way, but making it this time is Brad Freeman. But in the second inning, this ball almost landed on the head of Brooks Bryan, and Brian Weiss completely lost this one. It turned into a double. The double by Clint Earnhardt scored. The misplay by Bryan turned into a triple. He did not score, and of course you saw the play that Freeman made that got a tough out that ended the first inning off the bat of Trey McClure. Now here's Danny Higgins. Higgins did hit that ball that ended up on the warning track in center field over Brooks Bryan. He got credit for a triple. Otherwise, he'd have an 0 for 3 day.
Well, he started off the game swinging at first pitch. And what that does a lot of times when you jump on a pitcher's first pitch of the game, now he's seen back-to-back breaking balls, they change their whole pitching pattern. Now he's sitting 2-0. That sun's finding them everywhere.
You know, there is one way besides that hat to cure that. Go down a step. 2-0 count, and he misses high. I think there's shade right behind that guy, wasn't there? 3-0 counts. Pretty soon the shade could come into play on the field. Yeah, see the guy behind you? Maybe they're making him sit there. I don't know.
Oh, boy.
It's the outside corner. It's 3-1. You go sit in the sun. Maybe he missed a sign or something. Now they're warming up. They're doing a little more activity. They're heading down to the bullpen with a posse. 3-1 pitch to Danny Higgins. So he starts him off 3-0, and now he's got him back to a full count.
Higgins is not traditionally a leadoff type of guy where he takes a 3-1 pitch.
Swings through that one. Dropped by Barry Patton, but he picks it up and makes the tag and gets the strikeout.
But you don't really see too many 3-2 breaking balls to the leadoff hitter either. Watch this. He just snaps a little hook off on him, just enough to get him off pace. He's probably thinking about not hitting that 3-1 fastball, and you end up hitting the 3-2 breaking ball. Can't believe it. 3-2 hook. You got to be kidding me.
Here's Josh Dalton. As a jet skies overhead, he hits it a mile high. Now left isn't nearly the problem, but the wind is a factor over there for Rusty Toms, who makes the play.
Well, that jet was appropriate. That ball got up into a jet stream.
Scott Polk, we talked about Ron Polk. There's the former coach's son, a legend at Mississippi State. He's warming up, but right now just sort of loosening up. Trey McClure is the hitter. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Ball is skied to center. It looks like Brooks Bryan knows where that one is. He makes the catch in a 1-2-3 inning for Brian Compton, and it took only 8 pitches. MSU comes back for the last third of this game when we return.
You've seen it. The Bayou Bombers from LSU, 8-6 heading into the 7th. Recap from yesterday. Arizona State, Miami. Ryan Mills, star pitcher for the Sun Devils. K's Pat Burrell in the first inning. And it's Andrew Feinbrink, a 2-run home run to the jet stream to right field, bottom of the first inning. This is a Cresse, a bunt. A Miami Air scores Michael Collins, part of a 4-run second inning. State looks good. Ryan Mills looking good as well. He's going to be a high draft pick tomorrow in the entry draft. Game 2, Long Beach State, Florida State. Matty Diaz, a big shot to right field, 3-run homer, but Kevin Cash picked off at second base. Mike Martin, the coach, can't believe it. Then we see Long Beach star Andy Red Fox. Didn't play in the first game, played in the second. He was a hero. They win by 3. Florida State is out, guys.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Mike Martin, we're going to miss him, the coach of Florida State, because he certainly gave the best sound bites in this tournament. Dodd Gurnett.
He was very entertaining in our meetings with him. A lot of fun. Long Beach State playing 3 walk-ons.
That ball is hit hard to center. And the wind is going to carry it out of here. Richard Lee, the cleanup man, has brought Mississippi State a run closer.
Wow. That ball was crushed.
It just kept going and carrying. It's now an 8-7 game on the solo shot. Mississippi State very happy, but he had come up twice with the bases loaded.
I don't think wind had anything to do with that ball right there. That one was absolutely crushed. He stays behind this ball so nice. Great swing. He stayed behind it, just drove it. He knew all the way. As soon as he hit it, he knew it was gone.
That brings up Brooks Bryan. Bryan had a 2-run single in the 5th. With the bases loaded in the 3rd, he hit into a key double play for LSU. They've had 2 of them to end innings. Otherwise, Mississippi State would probably be ahead in this game. Cresse wants to go out and talk to Doug Thompson.
Well, once again, we got a 1-run ball game, Gary. And we've seen this time and time again this week where a team jumps out with it. Next thing you know, we're back to a tight ball game come the 7th inning. It's never over.
2-0 pitch to Brooks Bryan. He hits it hard, but right at the second baseman. It eats him up, but staying with it. Trey McClure can't get the throw off, though. And Bryan's aboard with nobody out in the 7th. And they've given him an error on that. That ball was smoked, though. Now.
Well, the ball was hit hard, and what happened is he got it off to the side of his body. He wasn't able to center this ball. If he stays in front of it, and he stays in front, but if he's able to center it, you see how it kicked off to the right of his body? Had he turned his body just a little bit towards first base, it would have fell in front of him. And that comes with playing time. He played a lot of third base, and he had the right body position for knocking it down for third base, but not necessarily at second base.
Travis Chapman now with that straight up stance. Stands stoically, the bat parallel to his body. Doug Thompson throws over again. He wants to keep Bryan close.
Dave McCarty used to play at Stanford and went to plays with the Giants. And is that who you're thinking about?
He's one of them. Now there's somebody else that has that straight up stance like that and keeps the bat. You got to have pretty quick wrists, especially because he keeps the bat in the middle of his chest.
And you're not going to get a whole lot of body leg drive when you're standing straight up like that.
That ball is hit hard. There's some quick wrists. Smashed it past the diving Blair Barbier. They got something going against Doug Thompson here in the 7th as the lead runs are now on base.
Well, you're absolutely right, Gary. Quick hands. Now, watch his body. Watch his hands. You're not going to get a whole lot of leg drive, but he just uses nice hands to drive by the in-drawn third baseman. Go up there, you look around the infield, and you try to pick out a spot, and you see the third baseman drawn in. You just try to slap it right by him, and that's what he did there.
Here's Barry Patton. He's got 3 strikeouts. It's the first time, though, that he'll be facing Doug Thompson. He squares to bunt, lays down a nice one, but it's going to curl foul.
What was interesting is that it didn't look to LSU. They weren't expecting a bunt. Now, look at the third baseman was playing all the way back. He wasn't anticipating a bunt at all. A lot of times, now if you see where he's playing, there's no way he's going to get in on a bunt. he gave himself up with plenty of time, and if he just put it on the grass, you got a successful sacrifice, possibly a hit. And what happens a lot of times, you saw him dive for the ball on the base hit. He got up and started cleaning himself up, and he found himself 5 steps back, and the situation had changed.
Now they've come in at the corners. This time he goes to the right side, picks it up and makes the play. They decide to get the outs as Eddie Furnace tags out Barry Patton. He gets a sacrifice, which is an improvement for him. He not only moves up the runners, he gets struck out 3 times in this game.
Well, he did a great job of taking what they give you and going ahead and butting this ball down the first baseline. And you want to try to keep it fair. Once again, Eddie Furnace, you know he's going to make the right decision, the academic All-American. So he goes ahead and makes a quick choice and puts the tag on him. But that was a perfect bunt to sacrifice and move the man up. That's a key play at this point in the ball game. Now, Mississippi State has done all the little things to keep themselves in the game, and that's why they're here right now. They're staying in the ball game, even though LSU's been out slugging them. Little things have kept them there.
They played small ball. Pat McMahon said that. They did hit 4 home runs against Florida, though, one of the reasons they were able to win. And this is another thing that Pat McMahon told us, that coming in the game, you switch pitchers, and Dustin Dabbs will automatically come in to hit for John Knott. And John Knott had a good hitting game, so this is just something that it doesn't matter what's going on. Dustin Dabbs comes in the ball game.
Well, Dabbs came in the other night and laced the ball to left field, and then he pulled one to right field. He handles the bat very well, and that's what you want in this situation. With 1 out, they're going to play their infield back. You want somebody who can handle the bat, go ahead and get a run in. That's all he's got to do is look at the hitting angles he's got as you can look around. Just try to hit the ball up the middle.
Sets him up in the inside corner, and it's an 0-1 pitch. You know, we showed Skip Bertman in the middle of that strategic moment there, Harold. And one of the reasons Barbier might have been playing back, Skip really knows the characteristics. They've met each other 5 times before. They only had 20 sacrifices all season before that one by Barry Patton, which makes it all the more crucial and all the more a thing that you really give him credit for.
Well, yes, and this is the time of year you got to go ahead and play the percentages.
Tough swing there for Dabbs, but he swings through it, and Thompson gets ahead of him 1-2.
This is a big at-bat right here. Just make contact. He's got a lot of hitting angles. The runners are going to be running on contact. Chance to pick up an RBI. Always giving out for an RBI.
Lead runs in scoring position. He misses up high, and it's 2-2 to Dustin Dabbs. He came in against USC on Saturday. He went 1 for 2. He did drive in a run in that game. There's your runners. The tying runner is Brooks Bryant at third base. Travis Chapman of MSU is at second. And here is the pinch hitter, Dustin Dabbs, who will move into Justin Knott's DH role. Off the plate there, and we're going to get the merry-go-round going. It's a full count.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they throw here. You got the pinch-hitting left-handed hitter facing the right-handed pitcher. You got an open base at first base.
Thompson throws it right over the middle. He fouls it back to the screen.
But there's no secret in what these LSU pitchers are doing. They're not thinking we're going to pitch around him, we're going to throw a breaking ball, change up, anything. They are reaching back and going right after the hitters.
We're in the 7th. Doug Thompson, the wind, the pitch, and he strikes him out. A huge strikeout for LSU.
Well, let's look at this sequence, how he got Dabbs out here. Dabbs got a fastball the first pitch, and he just getting a little feel for it. Then they went outside, then they came back in. Now, you saw that little inside-out loop on his swing. So they're going to go ahead and try to exploit that inside, and there it is. He fouls it off inside out again, and right there, inside out, he can't catch up to it.
See if they can get out of it. They're trying to hold on to a 1-run lead. Going with the pitch, but fouling it back is Chris Lauderhouse.
Lauderhouse has come up big for them in this series so far. He's had some clutch at-bats, advancing runners, base hits, doing the little things.
Tying and lead runs aboard. Doug Thompson misses off the plate, and it's 1-1. Lauderhouse 1 for 3 on the day. He's got 4 hits in this series. He's 4 for 7. There's his mother. You can tell how big a situation this is as his mother, Carolyn, looks on. There it is in right field. But screening it and playing it perfectly is Wes Davis. LSU gets out of a jam in which LSU maintains the lead, but it's down to 1 run at 8-7. This is June 1st, and that means The World Cup has arrived. ESPN's coverage of the World Cup begins this week on Thursday. 50 games will be televised between ESPN and ESPN2. And if you happen to miss the game on ESPN, that is a week from Wednesday.
Eddie Furnace.
Tough hitter. He's 0 for on the day, though. 0 for 2. He did walk and score in the 2-run homer by Cresse in the second inning. Struck out looking to end the 4th. Guy that we featured in the opening of the show is the only LSU batter to not have a hit. They've got 10. Hits it hard, but it's foul.
Well, he's had some good passes at the ball so far. Right there, hooking that slider down the line, but he hit a ball into right center field earlier. Drove a ball to left field to the track. When you're hitting 410, you're using everywhere. But just his preparation, the way he gets ready to hit, it looks like he sees every pitch so well. And we talked about his spread out stance. And what happens with the spread out stance is it allows him to be able to see the ball that much longer because he doesn't move his head. You hit with your eyes. Hitting is with your eyes. That's what Tony Gwynn talks about all the time. You hit with your eyes and not necessarily your body.
Plays off that one. It's 2-2.
Because as Ali would say, you can't hit what you can't see. And that's true with hitting a baseball.
There you see it there. Eddie Furnace, the only Tiger starter without a base hit. But one of the top draftable players on this team. You got to get over there, making the coverage. Compton throws the underhand toss to Richard Lee at first. And he gets the toughest batter who remains hitless.
He got him out a little breaking ball, but look at his eyes. Watch how they light up. Look at how much bigger they get when the ball's coming in. Stays down, his head down. That was just a different speed pitch that he had not seen yet. And even the good ones get fooled occasionally. But he still made contact. That's why he doesn't strike out much.
Brad Cresse, the hitting hero from the opening inning. Since his 2-run homer in the second, they have not trailed in this game. They took the first lead when he broke the 0-0 tie. They've maintained the lead, but is now down to 1 run. It was 4-0 after the second. Mississippi State came back and got 2. They answered with 2 of their own in the 4th. Mississippi State got 3 in the 5th, and they got 2 of their own in the 5th. There's Mark Cresse, the bullpen coach of the Dodgers, getting a rare day off and using it to the utmost. And he's got, it's going to be hard for Brad to top that. The first at bat he saw him have, he hits a 2-run homer.
Well, you're not kidding. You know, the other day when they got here and all the teams were here, Brad's biggest concern was, is Randy Johnson going to be a Dodger?
He may get to catch him someday.
Never know.
That'll be interesting. You know that he's probably going to want to play for his dad's organization, but this kid's so good that I don't know that the Dodgers are going to get a chance to draft him. Nice breaking pitch there. Cresse wasn't looking for that. He hits the inside corner with it, and it's full.
That's how you mix it up. That was very nice, and Brad knew. He knew that was a strike.
He tried to get the benefit of the doubt, tried to run over to first, but he knew that was over the plate. Full count pitch. Tries to jam with a fastball. Nice scoop at third by Chapman. Bounces across the line of the diamond, and Richard Lee makes a nice scoop of his own. And they retire Cresse. And Compton has now retired all 6 batters he's faced.
What a great pick by Lee here. Now watch. Cresse jumps on this ball, pulls it. Now watch the pick at first base by Lee. Watch him take his body down to go get this ball. Look at his body was down to go get it and pick it. See the reaction? He's seen a lot of balls hit hard at people. Part of the game.
Compton with a nice breaking ball there. He has really settled down this lineup. He came in after the 2-run homer by Barbier. Earnhardt also homered in this game. He homered right after Cresse's homer in the second inning. And then Davis made it back-to-back-to-back, Jack. LSU spun with a 4-0 lead, and another hit batter, the second of this game. Earnhardt takes one in the back.
Well, you could tell by the reaction from Compton that it wasn't an intentional pitch. It was not where he wanted that ball to go. And this pitch right here, he's hit before it even look at that tail back to the hitter. He's hit before it even releases his hand. Compton knew he had a hitter in trouble right there. Ow. It's the first one we've seen hit above the gluteus maximus, but if you're going to get hit, that's the place to get hit also, right there in the lower back.
There's a nice take something off that one and got Wes Davis to swing and miss. That's the 14th batter that's been hit. We're in game 7. It's 2 a game if we don't get any more hit this game.
And I don't think they're intentional. That's what's even scarier.
Well, yeah, you're right. It's just pitchers that just can't pitch inside.
You see a lot of long balls, and you expect a few people to get knocked off the plate, but these guys just haven't got the command of the inside pitch yet.
That gives the hit by pitch the lead in that sweepstakes. There's been 13 home runs hit, and now 14 hit by pitch. 14 home runs hit, 13 home runs rather hit by LSU. 14 is the record for a College World Series, and there's been 14 total hit by pitch in this series.
So what's all that add up to, Gary?
Right now it adds up to 27, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Okay. One's a team mark, one's a series mark, and it's a 1-2 2-out pitch. A raking ball off the plate. 2-2-2. Where's Long Beach when we need them? They love the 2-2.
Compton is really, like you said, he's settled down. Those are a nice line right there.
Gets him to golf for a pitch. Skies at the center, a long way to run. Brooks Bryan makes the sliding catch, and they hold LSU in check. Compton is retired. 7 of the 8 he's faced. He hasn't given up a hit, and he has kept them scoreless in 2 consecutive innings. As we go to break and come back with the 8th inning for the top of the order of Mississippi State, it is 8-7.
A College World Series is brought to you by the United States Army Reserve. Be all you can be. For more information, call 1-800-USA-ARMY.
We're back at Rosenblatt Stadium, and there's the Gators, team that lost to Mississippi State to fall into the losers bracket. You can see them tonight against USC in an elimination game. The Gators looking on and hoping that they don't fall the same way that their neighbors at Florida State did in Sunday's elimination game. They're out of it. The Gators are the top seed in this tournament. Mississippi State is the 8th seed. They haven't been daunted by anyone. They knock off the Gators, and they're within a run of the 2-time defending champions, LSU, and now it's the top of the order here in the 8th. Brian Weiss to lead things off against Doug Thompson, who for the 2nd straight game has come on in relief, and he's worked the count 1-1. Just off the plate is 2-1.
Well, Weiss hasn't done much. This is a big key opportunity for him. 8th inning, down 1, leadoff hitter.
There's the hook. He went with it, went for the pitch that would have been ball 3, beat him to the bag as Furness, and he gets the leadoff batter in the 8th, Brian Weiss.
We got him on a little breaking ball. He just nubbed it off the end of the bat there.
He couldn't lay off, but that pitch was well out of the strike zone.
Well, he started it down the middle and then broke it off the plate. A lot of times when you start a breaking ball down the middle, it's not going to end up down the middle, but you don't recognize it, and that's what he did there with that slider. He didn't recognize it.
Gas up high. Thomas goes after it. That's going to be a problem, but Wes Davis has figured out the right field, and that's the 2nd out here in the 8th as we go down to Dave Ryan.
All right, guys, we're joined by Steve Freeman, dad of Brad Freeman, former NFL players we talked about with the Buffalo Bills and Minnesota Vikings. Now, Brad has been drafted twice by Major League teams, didn't sign. He came very close last year, but he went back to school. Talk about that and the advantages of staying 1 more year at State.
Well, the advantage of staying 1 more year is he's had a better year. By rights, it should up his draft round. Senior, he knows he's going to lose money when he comes back as a senior, but that's not why he came back. Money's not the big deal. He wanted to finish out his senior year. He wanted to play for Coach McMahon and have a chance to get back to the College World Series, and all those things worked out for him.
Draft comes tomorrow. Where do you think he might go? What have you heard from the scouts, and what about his future?
You never know. The scouts tell you one thing, do another half the time. The future for Brad is he can be a major league ball player. He's got the talent. He's got the athleticism to do it. And he gave him a chance to go somewhere, he can work at it and make a ball club.
Steve, thanks very much.
All right, you're welcome.
Best of luck to him. So our score, 8-7. LSU's got the lead. We'll be back with more to Rosenblatt Stadium right after this.
Oh, no. Company. We're back in the College World Series. It's Monday afternoon, and the winners bracket. LSU is leading Mississippi State in our game 8-7 tonight. We saw some of the Gators players looking on to our game. They'll be playing Southern Cal not too long from now, 7:30 Eastern time on ESPN. Arizona State has already advanced with a 2-0 record. Miami and Long Beach will play tomorrow, and one of those two teams will fall by the wayside. Clouds are starting to roll in, but it's been a perfect day for baseball here at Rosenblatt Stadium. Gary Miller and Harold Reynolds with you as we play the bottom of the 8th. LSU is known as gorilla ball. It's a phrase that Coach Skip Bertman termed, and they've lived up to it in this World Series. They hit 8, which was a 1-game record in Game 1 to knock off USC, and now in this game they've hit 5, and this is the 9th time this year they've hit at least 5 home runs in a game. That's gorilla ball. Blair Barbier takes the ball.
That's not gorilla ball. That's mashing.
That's apish. That is Mighty Joe Young. Off the plate, it's 2-0.
Well, Barbier caught a pitch last time. A little fastball and drove it into the left field bleachers. See what he's able to do on this 2-0 pitch.
Blair Barbier decides to lay off and see a strike from Compton. It's 2-1. Compton has not given up a hit. In fact, the last batter that Jeremy Jackson faced was this guy, Blair Barbier.
Well, Compton is really pitching the ball, using the whole plate. And he's changing speeds on his fastball. And we've seen a lot of pop-outs by these LSU hitters because he's getting them out in front.
Here's a hitter's count, 3-1 to Blair Barbier. Compton delivers, and he walks in on 5 pitches. Now, we were talking about it, flexing your muscle, making things a little bit hairy for the opponents. There's Brad Cresse with a 2-run shot to get things started in the 2nd inning. That was followed by 2 more homers, and then Cedric Harris hit a 2-run shot in the 4th, and then Blair Barbier, who had yet to homer in this College World Series, hits one deep into the bleachers. That was a 2-run shot his last time up. Barbier draws a walk now to open up the 8th, and they just saw Barbier in the dugouts. That's because they have pinch run for him. So Blair is done for the day. Third baseman hit a 2-run homer. Singlin scored and grounded out to short. Skip Bertman in a 1-run game not only wants a little speed in the bases, they want some defense. Blair Barbier, Jeremy Whitten is on to run for him. Blair Barbier was a 2nd baseman. He and McClure switched positions. His team needed a spark, and they did it for a game just to show them that they're all interchangeable parts. Don't take anything too seriously. Try and get things going. McClure and Barbier played well that game. They won it, and they liked their new position, so that's where they stay.
Well, versatility is so important nowadays in baseball because nobody specializes anymore. The more positions you can play, the more opportunity you get to play the game. Scholarships are down, even at the pro level.
One of the reasons he put him in, Harold, it is a 1-run game. It's changed completely. We showed all the home runs, but a run here would be huge. Whitten is 11 for 12 on the bases stealing.
And now that you're down 0-2, you probably will not see him run for at least a pitch or two. That's the advantage of a pitcher throwing strikes. It takes away that running game, and now all of a sudden the base runner has to start thinking about pitch outs or whatnot. And in this case, the coach calling the signs over there has to worry about you're going to put a guy on the steal sign or not.
So here's the 0-2 pitch. Harris will be protecting, and he does. He fouls it off. Now, we told you the World Cup's coming up later in June. June is also Father's Day. There's Jerry Compton, the father of the pitcher. You know, when we went to interview Brad Freeman's father, Steve, I think he needs to sit next to Mark Cresse. That seems to be the magical seats. And he strikes out Cedric Harris. So we showed you Dad, Jerry Compton. Oh, yeah, the guy sitting next to him seems a little more relaxed. There we go. Peace to you, Pops. That's a big strikeout for son Brian Compton, Harold.
Well, he just reached back and threw a fastball by him. He threw him 3 breaking balls, and he had him looking. Now look at where Cedric's stepping to. He's stepping to hit the ball to right field. It came back up and in on him. It's a little gamesmanship. Set him up outside, bust him in.
Much bigger lead now for Witten.
Well,
this is a play where we may see something going.
Witten's not getting an opportunity to really run in good runners counts because the hitters have been so aggressive. Once again, Compton throwing a strike, and Higgins swinging at the first pitch. That's puts you in an 0-1 situation now, and he's probably gonna have to wait a pitch or two before he takes off.
Compton backs off the mound to keep him close.
Now, one of the best times to run is with a left-handed hitter because the catcher has to come up and he's got the left-hander standing in his throwing area.
Misses off the plate there.
And also the catcher's not able to peek and pick you up when you break. A lot of times, just because someone yells, "There he goes," you don't hear it. The catcher has to rely a lot on peripheral vision. And when you have a left-handed hitter, it blocks him from being able to see if the base runner's got a good jump or not. And that little fraction of time is enough to allow a guy to steal a base.
1-1 pitch. There goes the runner. Higgins goes the other way with it. That's going to carry, and it's another gorilla. They have tied the all-time College World Series record with their 14th home run as a team, and we are not done with Game 2. Danny Higgins with a 2-run shot the other way. LSU has spread its lead back to 3.
Well, Gary, just another example of what speed will do. Skip Bertman deciding to put Wiggin in the pinch run. And what that did is it made Compton have to throw Higgins a pitch to hit. Even though he was running on that pitch and everybody expected him to, he got a fastball to hit and he drove it out of the ballpark.
Here it is again.
Right here, it looks like a little slider, actually, or a little fastball just tailing, and he knew it as soon as he hit it, that he got it. Look at those arms, man. That comes from the weightlifting program. Look at the weight shift. He stayed behind this ball. He didn't catch it really on the sweet spot, but he caught it enough to know that he got it.
He scores. Let's check out Brian Compton's dad, Jerry. He had not given up a hit in this game. We saw how he reacted. And maybe that's why he was not too excited on the strikeout. He knew what this team can do to you. And that's exactly what Danny Higgins did. 6th home run in this game. 14 in the series. It's the second time that a leadoff walk has scored on a homer for him. And in a game that was a 1-run game, that's pretty important. And now you see Josh Dalton, a guy who's going to get joshed a lot. He's the only guy in the LSU Tiger lineup that has not hit a home run in this World Series.
Well, if you look at Josh Dalton, he looks a little bit like Chipper Jones. Watch his stance. A lot like Chipper from the front angle from center field. He looks a lot like Chipper Jones as he starts to approach this now. He doesn't have the thunder that Chipper has. Not quite yet, but...
Well, obviously not. He's the only guy that hasn't hit a home run for the Tigers. Josh Dalton looking to get his gorilla wings. He's got a 3-0 pitch, so if he gets a green light, he might get the pitch to hit.
But everybody grows up emulating somebody. You try to copy somebody's stance. And there's no doubt that he has looked at Chipper and said, this is the guy I'm going to try to hit like. Not a bad person to pick out.
Skip Bertman wants to talk to him here, Harold, on a 3-0 count.
He said, now look, I know Chipper's watching. You're the only guy without a home run. So pick one out and let it go. 3-0, let it fly. We'll see if it works.
Skip Bertman, quite a colorful guy. He shows his team videotapes that befit what he wants them to do in a given game. He obviously wanted him to take on that pitch, and it's 3-1 now. If he feels like a team needs to hit a little bit, he'll show them home run balls. If he thinks they need to catch, he'll show them great defensive plays. He'll show a lot of sports center. He showed him Purple Rain and Time of Your Life as he walks Josh Dalton before today's game. The Purple Rain being LSU, of course, and he's showing them from these games. You know that he said it's very inspiring. There were 5-6 minute tapes, but he gets them going, gets them fired up.
That just doesn't mix. Skip Bertman and Purple Rain, him and Prince.
He had another. He said there was another one with Tom Petty. He would play Don't or Won't Back Down, and he's talking about plays blocking the plates. Van Johnson's going to come in. They're going to make a pitching change after the 2-run homer. We'll be back.
Announcing one of the most exciting events.
Its lead back to 10-7 now. It's a 3-run gap because of yet another 2-run homer. A reminder that while we've been here covering this for you, there's a lot going on in sports. You can catch it from the Authority Sports Center. Hideo Nomo's future with all the trade talk between the Dodgers and the Mariners. What's next for him? Tiger Woods' injury, how severe is it? Can he play this week? And the Jazz now know who they'll play in the finals. They'll be hosting the Bulls on Wednesday. We'll hear from them about what they expect from the team they met last year in the finals. You know, right before this inning, we showed you 3 sets of 2-run homers, and then Danny Higgins hits another, and that was the first hit that man, Brian Compton, had given up. He pitched very well, Harold, but he walked Josh Dalton. It really wasn't close on many of those. Now here's Van Johnson, the sidewinder, coming in to try and keep it at a 3-run game because Mississippi State is down to its last at bat.
Well, here's another guy who can run is Dalton, and what happens again that we saw with Higgins and Witten combinations, with a base runner that can run, the pitcher has to give you something to hit.
You know, we talked a lot throughout the game about that 4+ lead so that it makes you get a grand slam. If you can get a 4, it's changed the strategy, so you know that Skip Bertman's going to try and get Josh Dalton here and expand that lead to 4.
Well, you want to get the 4 runs so a grand slam doesn't beat you. The grand slam ties you, and you still got a chance, so you want to get to that situation. Here you got a sidewinder. It takes a little while to get delivered. As soon as he drops that shoulder, you're off and running.
Just missed with that one, and then it's 2-0. You know, it's a perfect example of that, as Skip Bertman well knows. He saw the game, and he knows those 2 teams, Mississippi State and Florida, playing in their first game. And Wilkerson with a chance that it just went foul. A grand slam would have tied it in the 9th, although Mississippi State ends up pulling that game out.
Boy, it's never over, particularly in this ballpark. The way the wind has been blowing, the way the balls have been carrying, and the confidence in which these hitters have stepped up to the plate. When the wind is blowing and it's great hitter situations, your confidence level goes to a whole nother level, because now every pitch you hit, you feel like you got a chance to drive it somewhere.
That one's right in there. It's 3-1. Johnson, as a sidewinder, obviously gets a lot of sink on his ball as well. It'd be great for Mississippi State if they can get a double play and keep it at a 3-run game.
Well, that's why you got him in this situation, but I don't think they're going to get a chance. I believe that they'll be off and running on this 3-1 count.
Yeah, Dalton, the best speed on LSU.
And if you look at the middle infielders.
And they're capturing it. There is Trey McClure's dad, hoping that he can zero in on an extra base hit. Runners off and going. They're only going to be able to get one. Coming across the diamond to get the 5-3 put out. Travis Chapman makes the throw and gets Trey McClure.
Well, it's almost as if Mississippi State knew he was going to be running. Now look at how deep the middle infielders are. They're not even worried about covering here. Hammers the ball to third base, going to throw him out. I thought he might end up going straight to third and challenging him, but with 2 outs, you go ahead and stop. You got yourself in scoring position already.
They're going to put him on. So Eddie Furness is not going to get a chance to equal his teammates. He is the only batter in the LSU lineup without a hit.
But this is the type of respect that Eddie Furness has, even though Cresse has already hit all those home runs. Now look at Eddie's daddy.
His dad seems to know that he doesn't have a hit today. But that is a reason. He's a cleanup hitter for a reason in a lineup that has pounded out 6 home runs. You know, Harold, they also have. He's right next to Mark Cresse.
He's going, thank you. I get to see another 8B because this is the bottom of the 8th.
That's right. They pounded out 6 home runs in their last regional game to get them here to the World Series. So that gives them 20 now, Harold, in 3 games. And it brings up a guy that started this whole parade in this game. Brad Cresse is going to get a chance with 2 aboard after the intentional walk to Eddie Furness.
Well, if LSU hangs on, this is their last at-bat. And Mark is sitting over there going, I didn't fly 2,000 miles to see 3 ABs. I want to get another at-bat up there. Thank you for walking him.
Well, this is interesting. It's a 10-7 game. If this is indeed LSU's last at-bat of this game, in 2 games, 22 runs, 25 hits, and they have tied the all-time College World Series record of 14 home runs, and they haven't finished their 2nd game. And here's a guy that has hit a couple of them. Oh, they're going to pick off play. Josh Dalton has got the speed. They had him trapped, but the throw by Johnson is late to third, and Dalton is at third.
He did a great job of looking at the pitcher. Now, this is still on where the positioning of the defense is. You see him take off already. Now, he knows the third baseman's playing back, and he just flat out foot race to beat the third baseman to third, and it's a perfect steal. It's not your traditional way of doing it.
Now we got another base open. Mark Cresse thinking they're going to do the same thing as they did to the guy next to him's kid, Eddie Furness. But instead they come at him. You know, it's interesting, Harold. Johnson saw him all the way. He had him as soon as he goes. He was looking at him when he made the break. But as you mentioned, playing so deeply at third base, Chapman just couldn't beat Dalton on the bag. He's now 28 of 32 on his steals. That ball's hit hard. Chapman is playing deep, which allows him to make the force and keep it at a 10-7 game. Mississippi State coming back to its last chance against the Furness and Cresse kids. LSU looking to go 2-0 in this tournament in the ninth.
Armstrong.
3 bases loaded walks, so small ball has worked for Mississippi State. Richard Lee's home run helped them get within a run, but LSU continues to play long ball. They hit another 2-run homer in their half of the 8th. The 3-4-5 hitters who did so much damage against USC on Saturday have not been a big part of this, but there are 14 home runs, 6 of those today, ties USC's all-time record set in 1995 of 14 home runs in the College World Series. But this team hasn't even finished playing its second game.
Well, Gary, it's almost like playing Kentucky in basketball. Likes to fire away at the three-pointers. You come down and you play great defense. You hold them, you hold them, you hold them, and then boom, they pop a 3. You go down and get a 2. It just doesn't match up, and that's what gorilla ball will do to small ball all day long.
A couple of defensive changes behind LSU pitcher Doug Thompson as he tries to close this thing out. Brian Bennett is in left, and Johnny Thibodeau at third base. He replaces Blair Barbier. Witten pinch ran for him, and now they're going to bring out some sunglasses.
Davis is the one guy who has mastered how to play right field with the sunglasses. For a minute there, we had a little crowd coverage move over, so he left his glasses back, and now the sun's peeked back out again. Better to be prepared than caught off guard.
The clouds are rolling in a little bit. They're starting to hover, and there's the first pitch swung on and blasted. Bangs off the wall in right field. Richard Lee, who homered earlier in this game, has a stand-up double that almost got out of here.
He goes inside out with this ball and just drives it off the wall. Talk about the sunglasses coming into effect. They went right after the right fielder, but look at this nice short. Takes it down and in and just stayed with this ball. Hit it right on the sweet spot of the bat. He hit it so hard, I thought they had a chance of throwing him out at second. But the carom just kicks away right here from Davis. He wasn't able to field it cleanly, or else he might have had a play at second base.
There he throws in the curve, and it's 0-1 to the 5-hitter, Brooks Bryan.
Well, if someone lights up your fastball on a line drive opposite field off the wall, that'll make you go to your off-speed pitch real quick.
There's Brooks Bryan. Curveball misses in the dirt. Cresse with the block keeps the runner at second.
Nice play right there by Cresse. Lee's not going to be running to third, down 3 in the 9th.
There you see the patch on the arm. 19 is Smith. That's for Robbie Smith, the very first player that Coach Skip Bertman ever recruited at LSU. Thompson having a tough time finding the plate here. It's 2-0. They wore the number 19 patch. He was tragically killed in a 1997 crash on I-75 in Miami. He went to LSU, came back at age 28 and got his degree in criminal justice. His brother had played at LSU as well. He was a Coral Gables policeman. It was always his dream to be a policeman. He was on the DWI task force, and he was the head of that, but he had pulled over another driver and got hit in the middle of the night, and they had paid that tribute to him by wearing the number 19 patch on their uniform. And Doug Thompson has come back in this count to make it full on Brooks Bryan.
Well, Brooks Bryan down 3. He's got to take that 3-1 fastball right there. And I think everybody in the ballpark knew, hey, 2-run home run's not going to get it done. You got to take a pitch here. We need base runners. If there's any team in the College World Series who plays the fundamental type of baseball that you would expect to see Guys trying to get on.
Oh. Pitch way inside. We don't see a lot of bickering, but Brooks Bryant clearly thought that pitch at the inner half.
Well, he did everything he's supposed to do. He went up there, he tried to battle to get on base, and he took the 3-1 fastball. So 3-2, you're up there looking for a strike to hit. This ball tailing inside as the catcher, Cresse, catches it. I'm upset if I'm hitting 2 in that situation, especially right now in this part of the game.
So a critical situation, one of their best hitters goes off on a pitch, 3-2 pitch, well inside. Doug Thompson now has 1 out, and he's working on Travis Chapman. Just an up in the zone.
Well, you're looking at a whole new ball game. He hasn't been able to find the strike zone, and if Brooks Bryant is able to get on, you got first and second with 1 out, and you're coming to the plate with an opportunity to bop to tie this ball game. Actually, there'd be no outs because it'd be first and second, no out.
That could be bases loaded. That would have been a walk, and he's 3-0 on Travis Chapman. Obviously, Chapman taken here.
He'll probably be taking 2 pitches.
The outside corner on that, and it's 3-1.
You're in a situation here where, once again, where Brooks Bryant was at, you need 2 base runners. 2-run home run's not going to get it. I see him taking 2 strikes.
Hammers that ball foul, and it's come full.
And they don't see it the same way I do.
Thompson makes the pitches he's got to make. So he's got a full count. Tying runners on deck here in the 9th inning. LSU, the 2-time defending World Series champions, trying to close out conference rival Mississippi State. A sky-high fly to center field. That'll be easy, but it'll move the runner on the fly ball to Cedric Harris. Richard Lee moves up to 3rd. And they're now 1 out away from advancing in the winner's bracket and getting an extra day off.
Well, you give Thompson some credit for coming back and throwing strikes and making the hitters have to swing the bats. Good things happen when you make them swing the bat.
Down to Barry Patton. MSU trying to hold on. They've hung with this team. It's the 6th time they've faced them this season. They've actually beaten LSU 3 of those 5 times. But now in the biggest game of all, they trail, and it's an 0-run count on Barry Patton. As usual, we've gone a little bit over the 3-hour mark. SportsCenter waiting on deck. They've got a lot to tell you about as we complete the 9th inning here at Rosenblatt. Thompson grunting, wheeling back and dealing, and it's a 1-1 count. Barry Patton fouls that one straight back. Patton is due. He has struck out 3 times. He did get a bunt down that moved the runners up in his last at bat, but he's down to 2 strikes now here in the 9th inning. Mississippi State's in the winner's bracket, trying to come back, and LSU and Doug Thompson trying to close them out. This is wide with that one. It's 2-2. Doug Thompson's been outstanding in this College World Series. He finished up the game against USC. He's now pitched 6 innings and allowed just 1 earned run. Thompson with the 2-2 pitch. Right through there. Patton up the middle. He knocks in a run, and it's suddenly a 10-8 game. Mississippi State is still alive. Barry Patton's first hit of the game after striking out 3 times and laying down a sac bunt is a huge one here in the top of the 9th, and Skip Bertman is going to come out for a talk on the mound. He may be going to his bullpen.
Well, you got the left-hander Daps coming up. Now look at the fastball right here. He just stays with this ball and drives it up the middle. We've seen the hard ground. A lot of complaining about the high grass early. They've cut the grass down, plus the ground's dried up. So a lot of ground balls are going through the infield also. Not only just balls carrying out, but a lot of ground balls, and as a result, we're going to get a lot of runs.
There you see Skip Bertman signaling with the legal watch that he wants his lefty. One of the problems when you switch players, and as Dustin Dabbs came into this game to pinch hit for John Knott, it means that you're stuck there with a left-hander. Maybe he wasn't signaling for the lefty. As Chris DeMoy continues to warm up in the left field bullpen, he's going to let the righty Doug Thompson try and close this game out against Dustin Dabbs. So apparently he was just positioning his infielders for this 9th inning 10-8 situation with a runner aboard.
It looked like, Jerry, he moved his left fielder a little bit more towards the left field line. Dabbs has had a little bit of an inside-out swing. We saw him drive a ball to left field for a base hit yesterday.
That's the inner half, and that's an 0-2 count quickly. He probably also was out there telling Thompson, go right after it.
And he really has. LSU is one of the most emotional teams in college baseball, and they play with high energy.
That was the starter, Randy Kiesler, now in a T-shirt looking on, hoping Thompson can close it out as he did against USC on Saturday. Kiesler was outstanding in this game. Brandon Bowe came out for a couple of batters, and it's been Doug Thompson ever since. Thompson, after getting ahead 0-2, loses his grip on Dustin Dabbs, and now it's 2-2.
Well, one thing when you play with high emotion is trying to control it, especially for a pitcher. It affects your control on the mound with your pitcher.
Dabbs fouls that one back. It's still 2-2. Deuce is wild. 2-2 count. 2 outs. Skip Bertman wants his team to communicate out there. This is the tying run at the plate, and Dustin Dabbs. A lot of tension on the Mississippi State bench.
Well, Bertman's got signs for everything to his catcher, and no telling what that sign was.
2-2 pitch to Dustin Dabbs. Goes with a breaking ball, and it's hammered up the middle, and they're still alive. They'll hold the runner, and they've got 2 aboard. The tying runs are on in a 10-8 game in the 9th inning. That's College World Series baseball.
Well, that was a pretty swing. Now, Skip Bertman elected to go ahead and let Thompson stay in against the left-hander. Now look at this. Nice rock back and just pop. He stayed behind the ball and drove it up the middle. And now you got your left-hander in the bullpen, but you got the right-handed part of their order coming up. You got Lauderhouse coming up here. You go to your lefty or you leave Thompson in. He decided well before this at bat that he was going to leave Thompson in. That is his go-to guy.
And Josh West, who does a little of everything. He can pitch, he can play the infield and the outfield. He's come on to run for Dustin Dabbs. And so they put what they hope is a little more speed out there, because that's the tying run. Chris Lauderhouse is the batter. 1 for 4 in the day. He's popped up to third, singled and scored in the 5th. Lined out to dead center. And he's flown out to right field. Swinging on the first pitch, that ball is hammered at the warning track. The last out is pulled in by a guy who came out there defensively to play this inning, and there they are mobbing Doug Thompson as Byron Bennett makes the last catch. There's Randy Kiesler, who started this game and gets the win to move to 9-5 in the year. He pitched into the 6th, gave up 8 hits, 6 runs, and 7 strikeouts. So there's the winner's bracket winner, and tonight, the elimination game. Less than an hour from now, it'll be the USC Trojans against the Florida Gators. LSU, the 2-time defending World Series champs, have moved on with a 10-8 win over Mississippi State. For Dave Ryan and Harold Reynolds, I am Gary Miller.